Hello and welcome everybody, one and all, to the playoffs of Grand Slam Galaxy. I'm your commissioner, Willie or Won't He, and I can't see the screen because these sunglasses are polarized. Welcome to a glorious, glorious day of baseball. We've accidentally started a new save file because I misclicked. Don't worry, we'll get us back in just a moment. I don't want to learn practice. I would like to be on the right save file, please. So, today starts the playoffs of Grand Slam Galaxy. Let's, before we start the playoffs, see how we got here by looking at the final season standings. Now, today we have the quarterfinals. That means that the Monsters and Rookies, who ended the regular season in first and second, will not be seeing action today. They will await their opponents in the semifinals. Before that, and as always, a salute to our 8th and 7th place teams, those being the Bows and the Fire Eggs, who fought valiantly until the end. Today we have the Musicians versus the Flowers, and the Monarchs versus the Spitballs. Let's take a look at our playoff bracket. So, here's what we got going on. Each of the quarterfinals and semifinals will be best of 3, and then the finals themselves will be best of 5. As it stands right now, we've had our bands go through, we've had our picks go through, and for the our first match, which will be the Monarchs versus the Spitballs, we will see Mario Stadium Night, we will see Wario City Day, and should it come to it, the tiebreaker will be DK Jungle Day. Our second series of today will be the Musicians versus the Flowers. First, we'll be starting on Yoshi Park Night as the higher seed team gets home advantage first. Then we will be moving to Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, a new Flowers favorite in the late. And then finally, our tiebreaker, should it come to it, will be Wario City Day. Now, let's get it started because we have a lot of baseball to play today. Fab says they love you. Tell Fab I love them. Except put like a little twinge on it, like I'm struggling to say it because I love them so much. Let's get right into it with our first series of the day, which will be the Monarchs versus the Spitballs. Our 4th place and 5th place teams going at it to see who makes it into the semis. Now, our first game will, of course, be the Monarchs bringing themselves to Mario Stadium, specifically at night, because it's more thematic. Now, when it comes to this matchup, as we load in here, when it comes to this matchup, I'm going to go back to the bracket for a little bit so that I can talk about it. Or the standings a little bit so that I can talk about them. So, Monarchs versus the Spitballs. The Monarchs got that 500 win percentage. The Spitballs got 6 and 8. The Monarchs start off the season very strong. The Spitballs had a little bit of trouble to start off and then found themselves late in the season, found themselves well enough to get a playoff spot in that 5th seed. When it comes to Mario Stadium, the Monarchs are a very comfortable team, very happy to go there. I think that they believe that they can beat anybody in a fair round of baseball, as shown when in the last series of the regular season, the Monarchs took the Monsters to Mario Stadium and defeated them very comfortably. Meanwhile, the Spitballs as a team, let me just double check here, the Spitballs as a team, excuse me, have been to Mario Stadium one... Sir? Is it only one time? That can't be right. The Spitballs as a team have been to Mario Stadium twice. Okay, the Spitballs as a team have been to Mario Stadium twice. Excuse me. The first time was against the Fire Eggs back in Series 3, where they defeated the Fire Eggs 14-5. And the second time was in Series 4. They played against the Monarchs, so we've had this matchup before, and the Spitballs fell 7-10. The Monarchs, on the other hand, love this stadium. They tend to pick it if it's available to them to start off at least. Very, very comfortable on this stadium, going to it very often. So whereas the Spitballs haven't been here in a while and tend to want to go with that slightly more crazier, slightly more on your feet game, the Monarchs, the team of consistency who I'm not sure have swapped their roster or their outfield since day one, despite pleadings for trades from some overly desperate team managers, they love a consistent good game of baseball. And we'll have to see whether or not the Spitballs are able to defeat them on their first attempt in the biggest stage so far for both teams, the quarterfinals. Now, I say biggest stage so far as if the CPU Winter Classic, which the Monarchs won, doesn't count, but it's a big deal. We've had a very long season, and I'm very excited to see how both of these teams play. We'll get right into it as soon as I triple, quadruple check that we don't have any issues with any of the players. I've had reports. I think it's a good thing that we haven't had any player protests in a good long while, and it seems like the players are a little bit nervous, of course, entering any playoff game, as well they should be. But Waluigi, Toadette, our two starting pitchers, our two starred players, both teams investing in those defensive things, look like their arms are warmed up. It looks like we are all set to go here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to officially welcome you to the Grand Slam Galaxy postseason. It's been a hell of a ride to get here, and we'll see what hell of a ride awaits us as we progress slowly towards the finals. Both these teams have a long road to get there, though, of course, and it starts for both of them right now as our playoffs start on Mario Stadium. I'm very excited to see this game. Very excited. Oh my god. I genuinely think the Monarchs are slightly favored on Mario Stadium, so I understand why they want to come here. They definitely have a absolute devastating start to their batting rotation, famously so, with PD Piranha, with Fireball, with Boomerang Bow. The question with the Monarchs that we've always asked is, if those star hitters get shut down, who steps up on these teams? So I think that the Spitballs, the big question for them as they start off their offense very well with two singles, will be, can they shut down those star hitters on defense? Now, of course, winning the game is done by scoring. believe it or not. And they've done admirably so far, the first 2 runners getting on base. But against a defense like this, well, that can end at any moment. Boomerang Bro will have to settle for a single as it takes him too long to reel in that ball to catch Iwata at second. And Wiggler, Mr. Consistency now, with a runner in second, a runner on third, and a very consistent slap hit. Looks like he wants to charge it though. Hits it deep. This should be a sac fly. But that does mean that our scoring for this game officially starts as Green Dry Bones runs it in. And we have a 1-0 scoreline with a runner on second to start this game. Okay, I mean, you want to see slap hits from Wiggler? It's almost a little bit worrying. Oh, Toadsworth getting tired already, though. The deep hit from Toadsworth worrying him. We've seen Toadsworth pitch deep the later into the season that we get, but it looks like the pressure of the playoffs is getting to him early as the man is already starting to tire a little bit. Runners on the corners and 2 outs, but Yellow Toad with that very good slap hit. Not good enough, though. Actually, maybe a little bit too good. As Peach picks that up in right field to end the inning. Now the Spitballs with a 1-run lead. It's a good start. We've seen many teams go quiet immediately, but when the Monarchs have designated hitter after designated hitter after power, we'll have to see if it's good enough. PD Purana doesn't start off well enough, though, as Yellow Toad picks that off in center field. Boomerang Bro, who started his last game with a home run, starts this game. Good contact. It's a line drive up the center. That'll only be a single for the Bro in blue. I had to decide what to call him there, and it took me a little while longer than it should have, maybe. Magic Koopa will hit it deep. This will be a pop fly, and that will keep Boomerang Bro at first. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. What absolute incredible play from the Spitballs as the buddy catch. Yellow Toad making the play, not just to catch the ball, but to knock it immediately to Miyamoto, who rockets that into first base, gets the third out, and ends the inning for the Monarchs. Well, if the Monarchs are having a rough early nerve start to this game, the Spitballs definitely aren't, as Yellow Toad keeps his eye on the game. Makes not just the play, but makes the double. And Toadsworth now starting to get a little bit nervous. The Spitballs are already on hitter number 8, Wario, who knocks a good line drive out to left field. A little bit of an odd bobble from Toadette, but she keeps herself good enough to knock it over to Blue Toad out in left field and keep the play clean. Waluigi, though, with a pop fly out to center, is cleaned up by Toadette. And with him and Miyamoto not having much luck, Wario getting a first, that means there's 2 outs, and as Green Dry Bones is caught out, the Spitballs don't have a lot of luck at the top of the second. Heading into the bottom of the second, the Spitballs do definitely have a absolute fireball home run hitter to dodge here, as Fireball makes good contact for a line drive out to center field. But anytime a bro comes up to a plate and it isn't a home run hit, is good for the defense. Now Dark Bones with a chance to add on to that those slugging numbers for his team. Definite potential from this hitter. We've seen solid home runs from him at the end of the season. He slaps it, though, and is not able to evade Blooper, who in a mirror to last inning fires off the throw to first and catches out Firebro for the double play. Now with 2 outs and no real progress for the Monarchs, they're brought to the back half of their batting order. Toadette, Blooper bobbles, and Toadette takes extra advantage using the POW block to get all the way to second. A bobble and an item to turn the last out of the inning into an RBI chance for Blue Toad. Now the Toads are great slap hitters. We have a real chance here for the Monarchs to even the game off of a bobble. With a line drive out to center, no. Yellow Toad snags that one, and nerves from the Spitballs cooled as they clean up the play and keep the Monarchs scoreless. Now, they only have 1 run. And in any game of baseball, that's barely a lead at all. It's only the top of the 3rd. They need to get their offense not just started, but going in earnest. They want to keep this lead against the Monarchs squad. Toadsworth hanging on through the top of the 3rd, still a little bit nervous, but the old man, plenty of tricks still up his sleeve. Blooper fouls off the first pitch. Second pitch now coming in from Toadsworth, curveball. Not enough curve on it though, and Blooper catches all of it. Unfortunately for him, Blue Toad more than fast enough to catch that one out in left field, so it'll be left to Mr. Consistency, who does get that slap hit, but is not able to evade Boomerang Bro, and it's a very clean 3 up, 3 out defense for the Monarchs. Despite a shaky first inning, where they only let up 1 run to be fair, they're now sealing this one down. And pressure might just mount on the Spitballs very soon, as 1 run lead is, again, no lead at all. Peach, though, she pops it to Blooper for the first out of the bottom of the 3rd inning. Waluigi treating the old man with some respect, trying to trick him with a trick ball, but no. Toadsworth gets it, but doesn't get it out of the infield. Third baseman, Green Drybones, cleans that play up, gets the out at first. Petey Piranha almost mirrors it, but barely knocks it foul to his relief. We'll have to see if Petey Piranha is able to turn up in the playoffs. It's a deep hit attempt, but with no item support, that one stays in the park. That means it's 3 up for the Monarchs as well. Neither team starting with a lot of power here. And it looks like the first game of the playoffs will be relatively quick, should this pattern hold. Reggie now at the plate for the Spitballs. Knocks it deep, too deep. Toadette picks that up for an easy out in center field. Toadsworth still feels pressure, but continues to pitch on the mound. As Yellow Toad slaps that out to left field, he'll get a single. When you have consistent slap hitters like this on the Monarchs, lots of opportunity. Oh, sorry, it was the Spitballs pitching. Oh my god, there's the Spitballs playing. When you have consistent slap hitters like this on the Spitballs, plenty of opportunity to get runners on the base. Unfortunately for them, Miyamoto not consistent enough. He'll knock it right to Fireball at second base position. He'll catch it for the first out, turn it over to first for the double play. Waluigi also starting to tire, actually. Might retire from the mound in this game earlier than Toadsworth. That's almost a surprise to see, but he knocks out Boomerang Bro relatively easy, with that hit to center field being caught out by Yellow Toad. Now it's Magic Koopa, much easier batter to try to catch, but the lack of power in Magic Koopa's magic wand actually keeps him safe, as that ball lands in shallow center for a good single. Now Fireball with a chance for a go-ahead homer, knocks that slider attempt cleanly, but it'll run foul. So that's a foul off the first pitch. Second pitch, Waluigi going for a trick ball on the outside maybe. No, folds it in on the inside off that trick ball, and now it's 2 strikes against Fireball. Another attempt at a trick ball from Waluigi. Fireball has to guess. Does hit it, but it runs foul. That means we'll see pitch number 4. Waluigi knows the stakes and keeps the pressure up with trick ball after trick ball. Fireball does knock that one, but is kept to only a single. Now as Darkbone steps to the plate and 2 men are on, Waluigi will be the first pitcher to retire. As Wario steps up to the mound now, and Waluigi steps behind the plate. Dark Bones pop fly to left field, caught out for the second out, but there's still a runner on first and second as the slap hitters for the Monarchs step up. Toadette first. She will watching the first one. Second pitch. Whiffs it. Gotta be careful. Last chance. Slider. Good contact out to right field, and it lands safely, meaning that the bases are now loaded with 2 outs for the Monarchs. Can Blue Toad hit a clean single to tie this game? Looks like he almost wanted more with that initial charge up. Second pitch coming in. Fastball on the inside, but it's too far on the inside. That's a ball. Second pitch. Tries to sneak it over the center of the plate, but no. Blue Toad catches that, and a clean single is exactly what he gets. We are now tied at 1-1 with bases remaining loaded. Ooh. Savalola, you can join me at commentary whenever you're ready. If and when you're ready. Now, Peach with another good single. Usually the captain flies out, but in this case, a clean hit to right field lets the go-ahead run of Firebow safely touch the plate, and the bases are still loaded. Toadsworth now, 9th batter in the order. Loaded bases still, 2 out. Can he claim the infield? He looks to with a good line drive out to center, but Yellow Toad successfully gets under that. Bails out his captain Wario, and the Spitballs stop the bleeding. That does mean next inning they'll have to worry about the top of the Monarchs batting rotation, but they're at least done with Toadsworth's pitching as Peach comes in from right field in the middle of this game to take over the mound. She'll immediately be facing Wario with a curveball. Second attempt, it's another curveball, but that one's clean hit by Wario. Good single to reach first. Waluigi now, captain versus captain. Waluigi also having some struggles on the batting mound in the later half of the season. So we'll have to see whether or not he's able to get Wario moving around these bases with a good slap out. Perfectly aimed though. He'll do more than get Wario on these bases. He'll get a double, as both the two captain and sub-captain are at second and third respectively for Green Drybones to step to the plate. Star pitch from Peach to try to sneak this ball over the mound, and she does. Another attempt from Green Drybones. It's a good pop to right field, and just like that, both captains are running home. The Toads fumble it in the outfield, letting Green Drybones reach all the way to second, and the Spitballs regain a 1-run lead. Iwata, though, the magic is stopped as he grounds out to second base, but something I didn't even realize, that was only the first out of the inning, and Green Drybones has reached third. Potential for the Spitballs to be the first team to reach a 2-run lead. And it looks like with a good hit by Blooper out to shallow right, that will be exactly what happens. The single that Boomerang Bro barely misses the catch on lets Green Drybones run home, and it's the Spitballs who are tiring out Peach, the immortal pitcher, in the first inning that she came to the mound. Wiggler, Mr. Consistency, with his first time actually reaching the bags this game. Single out to right field, and oh my god, Peach doesn't even make it through a single inning before she's withdrawn from Magic Koopa. Playoff nerves getting to the Monarchs. And as Boomerang Bro is not able to make the catch from Reggie, that will just reload the bases for the Spitballs. Or I'm sorry, load the bases actually for the first time this inning. Yellow Toad with that ever-consistent slap hit brings in Blooper to home, and bases remain loaded as the Spitballs are at a 3-run lead versus the third pitcher for the Monarchs this game, and only 1 out on the inning. Firebro and Boomerang Bro not able to make much use of themselves in their legendary infield, and Boomerang Bro with a rare miss on a boomerang catch misses at least 1 out. I'm not sure he would have brought it in soon enough to get the double play, but he could have at least caught out Miyamoto at first. Instead, he gets nothing. Miyamoto with a single, bases remain loaded, and Magic Koopa is tracked off the mound. Petey Purana is brought in to pitch for the Monarchs, and this is only the top of the 5th inning. The Spitballs are absolutely running through the Monarchs defense right now. Wario will finally be caught out Boomerang Bro will finally get the double play to end the inning, but the top of the 5th leads to 5 runs for the Spitballs. The Monarchs are at the top of their order, and they do have a lot of home run caliber hitters. Petey Piranha is desperate to make a play as he winds up early. But if he wants it, he has to hit it fair. First hit goes foul. Second hit on a slider. Grounds out to third as Green Drybones keeps his glove on the ball and runs it to first. Now it's Boomerang Bro. On the pitch. Whiffs the outside fastball. Second pitch. Right down the middle for Boomerang Bro, who does knock it. That's ambiguous. That's a home run. What a line drive. Basically right down the first baseline for Boomerang Bro to be the first run for his team this inning. That's a reminder to the Spitballs that this game is absolutely not over until it's over. Sure, the Monarchs are having trouble with their pitching depth at this point after their 2 star pitchers are retired very early, but if the Monarchs can get through Wario, well, Magic Koopa is not going to. Magic Koopa caught out by Blooper at the second base position for the second out of the inning. So it'll be up to Firebro to try to stack on additional damage. He'll also need a home run to counter or to combo with Boomerang Bro. It's a deep hit, but it's just not deep enough. Yellow Toad with the safe catch on that one. And the Monarchs have to settle for only 1 run at the bottom of the 5th. Question is now, can the Spitballs actually come? Will the Spitballs offense continue its production, or will they start to fall flat in the last 4 innings of this game? An amazing inning 5 to be sure, but they start off inning 6 a little bit weaker as Warriors caught out by Boomerang Bro. Petey Piranha doesn't make it much long at all as Petey Piranha is swapped out to the outfield. Toadette is brought onto the pitcher's mound, and that means that the Monarchs have no synergy in the outfield. Any home run hit is now a bomb with so many innings left to play. Of course, the question is, who on the Spitballs can take advantage of that? Iwata now. Second in the batting order. Watches 2 balls fly by him. Third pitch. Goes right down the middle and he'll slap it, but he'll ground out to Boomerang Bro. Toadette will have to be the hero of her team defensively, as even though the outfield is now cracked, the Monarchs keep the Spitballs scoreless at the top of the 6th. And Darkbones is brought in. Plenty of home run potential still on these Monarchs, but, well, 3 runs is not an all-encompassing lead, but it's a scary one. When the Spitballs have had such a great inning, and the Monarchs are known to produce on flashy bombs, well, we'll see if those bombs go off. Toadette, not able to avoid the infield as Blooper snags that one, turns the double play. That means it's Blue Toad with 2 outs on the inning. Every runner matters here, but Blue Toad decides that he's not a runner, he's a home run hitter of his own. A good hit out to right field. And just like that, the Toad storyline continues with a solo bomb. The Spitballs with only a 2-run lead. Peach now at the plate. A line drive out to right field. She barely avoids Miyamoto's glove, but it's only good for a single. Wario and Toadsworth now. Toadsworth, good slap to navigate it up the middle. That'll be a single, and just like that, it's a 2-out rally for the Monarchs as they get back to Petey Piranha at the top of the order. Petey Piranha needs to hit it big here. Hell, it's possible for a go-ahead home run here. Charges, but watches the first 2. Pressure on the plant. Pitch number 3. Good contact. That would be out of here, but it looks like Yellow Toad and Miyamoto are there in time to make the catch and end the inning. A valiant attempt from the plant. No doubt putting a little bit of fear into the Spitballs' hearts, but A good catch and a 2-run lead means the Spitballs still have the advantage in this game. Blooper now will start off the offense for the Spitballs and also start off the scorekeeper's job of tracking outs as he grounds out to second base. Wiggler. Good slap hit. You see, when Wiggler relies on these slap hits, as long as he knows that's what to go for, he's excellent at getting a runner on base. Reggie follows up with a slap hit of his own, and just like that, despite item interference attempts, to runner on first, runner on second, and Yellowtoad looks like he just wants to bunt and try to advance these runners. First ball hit way wide, but second ball will be bunted. It runs foul though. These are very fast runners on base, so if it can stay fair, but no, Yellowtoad bunts it foul twice, frustrated. He charges, and he doesn't want a foul bunt. Oh, he misses the 3-run homer by inches. And that is great news for the Monarchs. Not good enough news, though, as Yellowtoad still good slap up the center. And that's loaded bases now for the Spitballs. Miyamoto, though, knocks it right to Fireball. Fireball and Boomerang Bro turn the double play. And whereas last time the Spitballs were able to capitalize on those loaded bases, this time, not so much. Donut for them at the top of the 7th as the Monarchs still are in this game. Only a 2-run deficit now. Boomerang Bro looks to make that one. No, foul by literally a millimeter. Charges. Contact, but it's not high. It's simply a grounder to center field. Yellowtoad misses the play though. But Boomerang Bro is not fast enough to capitalize. It's only a single. Ball, foul bunt, an absolute robbery of a long ball foul, single out to center. Listen, Yellowtoad is fascinating. I love watching the Toads. I would watch an all-Toad league, to be honest. They're great. Wario, trick ball to try to strike out Magic Koopa, but the Magic Man sees through it. Not fast enough, though, to reach first. He'll have to settle for advancing Boomerang Bro to second. Fire Bro still with another chance to tie this game. How long can the Spitballs evade a big home run bomb? Well, a little while longer as the star pitch from Wario tricks out Fire Bro. That is a good single, though, from Fire Bro, as they're not caught out running to first. Runners in the corners for Dark Bones. Good hit here. A steal attempt from both Bros, and Waluigi is not there to make the stop in time. Fire Bro steals second. Another steal attempt off a bunt to advance them early. Boomerang Bro with greed gets the 5th run off the bunt from Dark Bones. Boomerang Bro was running before the ball even left the pitcher's mitt and is well rewarded by making this a 1-run game. Fire Bro is also on third base, so the tying run just needs a single from Toadette. She pops out to right field. It lands before Miyamoto is able to get a glove on it, but the CEO able to turn that play to first with inches to spare. Nabs Toadette out and keeps the Monarchs 1 down as we enter the 8th inning. Scary news for the Spitballs, though. The Monarchs score 4 innings in a row. None of them are big innings, but every score counts here. Wario with a rare star ball to force himself a single, so he'll get on base. Waluigi now has to try to take advantage of that. He's a great slap hitter if he chooses to progress Wario, and does just that. A good line drive. That's a powerful slap hit, and it's very good for a double from Wario. Now runner on second, runner on third, no outs. Green Drybone steps to the plate. This feels familiar. The Spitballs still have a 1-run lead at the top of the 8th, but Green Drybones wants to make that bigger, but no. He's caught out and is caught at first. Fire Bro firing that one off to first base. I thought Fire Bro was the second baseman for a second there. Please tell me I didn't make a mistake. Nope, I just made the wrong call earlier in this inning. Fireball will reel in that catch to stop Iwata from getting a clean single. Tried to catch out the run at home though, doesn't make it, and that means that Iwata does get the clean single. Wario scores a run to make this a 2-run game, and we have runners on the corners. Boomerang Bro will reel in Blooper's hit and catch him out, but it's not fast enough to stop Waluigi from touching home plate. And the Spitballs now have a 3-run lead. Iwata still at second base now. Wiggler charging. Not as good a charge hitter, but this one, no, not good enough to hit the back wall. Blue Toad snags it and ends the inning. Tall order for the Monarchs. They're 3 runs down. They're in their 7, 8, 9 part of their batting rotation. Blue Toad needs to get something started for this team. It's a charge hit out to center, but it's caught out by Yellow Toad. That's not what the Spitballs need at this point of the game as Captain Peach. Will she be the last hurrah for her team in the bottom of the 8th? Yeah, kind of. Well, she grounds out to Blooper, but to be fair, there's one more out, and Toadsworth. A good single here would set up PD Piranha nicely. Watches the first slider. Second pitch now from Wario comes in. It's a fastball. Toadsworth likes that a little bit more and hits the single. So, it's up to PD Piranha. Not a lot of luck from his bat so far this game. Charges, hits it deep, but unfortunately for him, Reggie and Yellow Toad are there in time to make the catch. And yet again, a Monarchs inning ends on a home run attempt from PD Piranha that's caught by the outfield. Now we have to point out, the outfield for the Monarchs is still in a lot of trouble, but this is the Spitballs' last opportunity to take advantage of it. They haven't had a single ball that's even threatened to go out of the park yet. They've just played small ball magnificently. Reggie, assisted by a pow block to make it to first. Most other runners would have brought that ball in and the pow block would have been allowed to fire, but no, Firebro not able to reel it in. That gives Reggie enough time to reach first and Yellow Toad enough time to fire off the pow block immediately. Thought Boomerang Bro was gonna beanball Yellow Toad, but no, to strike. Second hit, that's a Toad deep to right, and without chemistry in the outfield, the Spitballs capitalize with a 2-run homer for the second Toad home run we've seen today. What a play! The Spitballs now have a 5-run lead on the Monarchs' home field heading in. No, still in the top of the 9th. There's not been an out yet. That will change with the Miyamoto, who does ground out to Toadette at the second base position. Wario now faces Boomerang Bro. These fastballs are a little scary. Slider attempt, but Wario makes good contact with a slap to drive it out to left field. Not feeling the confidence to try to make it a double though. Waluigi will look to keep the captains running around the bases as he faces off with Boomerang Bro. There's only one out still. Waluigi's attempt is good out to center field, and PD Piranha is not able to get there in time to pick it up. So that means that Wario and Waluigi, for the 3rd time this game, runner on second and third, Green Dry Bones up. Strike one. Good hit from Green Dry Bones. Finds its mark. Wario and Waluigi are both running home. And the Spitballs now have a 7-run lead as Boomerang Bro starts to tire. Strike one from Boomerang Bro, right down the middle. Or right on the inside, excuse me. Iwata makes good contact, and it does stay fair. Green Dry Bones thinks about running to third, but also thinks better of it. Stays at second. That means a runner on first, runner on second will make Boomerang Bro step off the mound, and Fireball will try to clean up this game. He just needs to take one bad hit from Blooper. But that's a very good hit from Blooper. It stays in the park. Petey Piranha with a very fast glove is able to bring that in before Green Drybones is even able to think about making that fly and advance to run to third. But no, Wiggler now slaps it. Pow block interference. One run in. A second one run in. Green Drybones and Iwata both touch the plate. The Spitballs are now up 14-5 as Reggie keeps this going with a slap hit out to left field. Run on first, run on second. The Spitballs are just running up the score at this point. They've got a 9-run lead. Yellow Toad faces down Fire Bro. Slap out to right field. Toadsworth is fast enough to grab it, but not before Wiggler runs home and gives the Spitballs a 10-run lead with 2 outs. We've rounded the batting order. Miyamoto now up against Firebro. Slap. Again, clean right up center field. Again, power block interference. And that's now an 11-run lead for the Spitballs, as they are absolutely throttling the gas, and Sub-Captain Wario keeps it coming with a star hit to let Yellow Toad reach home. Runners on the corners, still 2 outs. The Monarchs just need 1 more out to get out of this nightmare inning, but Waluigi, the captain, hits a bomb to left field and flies home off a 3-run homer. The Spitballs demolish the Monarchs on their home field and hit a 20-5 scoreline. Now Blue Toad, the third pitcher this inning, brought in. Green Drybones finally fished in by Boomerang Bro, and a 12-run inning for the Spitballs. I'm not sure, that might be the most runs we've seen in any game in the history of this league. In an inning, excuse me. Boomerang Bro does not copy that success. He flies out right to Blooper at second base. We've seen double digits in an inning before. I know that much. I don't remember if I don't think it's ever breached like 10 or 11. I think 12 is a record. Magic Koopa also flies out to Wiggler, so that's 1 catch by Blooper, 1 catch by Wiggler. Fire Bro knocks it deep to right. And hey, it's a solo bomb for Fire Bro to make this a 20-6 scoreline. But the Monarchs would need 14 more to even up this game. They would need a comeback the likes of which we have never seen before, and I'd be very surprised if we saw it now. Dark Bones up against Wario. Slaps it. It's good. It's out to center left, so it will be a single for Dark Bones. And Wario is being taken off the mound, so the next pitcher is Wiggler. That means that outfield chemistry is maintained. Wiggler's not a strong pitcher, but he's strong enough to make Toadette ground out to Blooper at second base. And the Spitballs demolish in the opening of the postseason, taking the Monarchs home field with a scoreline of 20-6. The 5th seed is absolutely here to play. And in their first game, a big show up versus the Monarchs, who I was going into this and I saw the Monarchs as pretty well favored. Wait, did I label this stream as the semifinals? No, okay. Excuse me. There we go. Okay. So, Yellow Toad, off the Toad Bomb, off so many good catches in the outfield, and off plenty of good, decent, hardworking singles, gets MVP honors. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that's very well deserved from the transplant to this team. That seems like a very, very worthwhile trade for the Spitballs, as they were trading Yellow Toad, exchanging him for Purple Toad with the Musicians. And let's take a look at these box scores. Let's start with the Monarchs. The big question I asked was who shows up if the big hitters don't. Firebro and Boomerang Bro both putting in the best performances they could, but both of which, despite hitting bombs, it was just not nearly enough, and PD Piranha goes incredibly quiet. I'm not sure, if PD Piranha got on base this game? He had 2 attempts at home run bombs, both of which were far too slow and caught by the outfield. So absolutely no results for him, and he'll have to get his head in the game. Maybe take a look at rewatering those pedals before we head to game number 2 of this quarterfinals. Despite a very fine performance in the main season, the Monarchs are now staring down the barrel of elimination if these heavy hitters can't come through later, and especially if Toadsworth and Peach can't last a lot longer against a very fiery Spitball squad. Meanwhile, on their side, incredible batting stats across the board from this team. I mean, full credit to Waluigi, but he did hit that home run off a weak into outfield. I mean, I think Yellow Toad did too as well, if I remember the timing correctly, but to be fair, his ball was hit well enough that I'm pretty sure it would have evaded a glove by any fielders. So now, with those honors and with excellent slap hits across the rest of the boards, and my hat's off to a very fine pitching performance by Waluigi and Wario, holding on for much longer than they need to, the Spitballs are looking incredibly strong heading out of game number 1. So now the Monarchs are facing down an elimination game. If they don't want to get eliminated in 2, they need to take the Spitballs home game as we head to sorry, I can do a better trumpet sound than that. I can't do a better trumpet sound than that, actually, apparently. It's all garbage. Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into Wario City Daytime. Now, I would have guessed this would be a riskier choice from the Spitballs, as Wario City is known as a slugger's dream. We've seen plenty of bombs on this stadium, and I would have been a little bit worried about it, but it looks like this might have been the right call from the head coach, as the batting for the Monarchs just isn't turning up in the way it needs to. And there's plenty of opportunity, if you'll excuse the double hiccups, for the Spitballs to capitalize on that and start driving on extra damage onto this team. The question remains as well, with that extra offensive pressure, whether the stamina from Toadsworth and Peach will hold up. They, of course, will need to make sure that they hold on and keep on that defensive pitching that the Monarchs are known for, or whether or not they, well, fall a lot earlier than we're used to them doing, just like in last game, and whether or not the Monarchs aren't able to make it past the quarterfinals. We'll have to find out right now, as the Monarchs versus the Spitballs heats up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second game of this best of 3 series as we head into Wario City Daytime, and the Spitballs have the home field advantage. Waluigi, fine pitching performance last game. We'll have to see whether or not he's able to keep it up. PD Piranha is immediately improving on his performance from last game, though, as the line drive up the center Hits him a single to start off this one and immediately puts Boomerang Bro in incredible position. But no, Boomerang Bro also settling for the line drive up the center. Funny enough, maybe taking inspiration from their foes last game with this small ball potential. But if they want to capitalize on it, they're going to have to avoid Magic Koopa's very, very strong ability to get caught out. But no, dodged well enough the first time. First hit flies foul, and as Waluigi keeps Petey Piranha honest, just like that, Magic Koopa hits into the triple play. The weak hit combined with some relatively slow base runners means out, out, out. And the Monarchs are kept scoreless at the top of the first after a very strong start. Now it's up to them, and it's up to Toadsworth to try to repeat that performance against the Spitballs. 2 strikes to start. Fastball down the center, caught by Green Dry Bones though. The arrow play kind of saves it from being at risk of being a double. So runner on first for Iwata now. Charges. Good contact on the slider out to right field, but Peach picks that one up and throws it in with plenty of time to avoid trouble from the fireball. So 1 out, runner on first. Blooper now, the man who made that triple play. Well, he'll only produce a double play for the Monarchs. Both teams are kept scoreless after the first inning concludes. So, opportunity for the Monarchs to open up this scoring with 2 very good sluggers immediately stepping up to the plate who can definitely put the screws to Waluigi early. Fireball wants to, but that curveball is way too fast for him. Slides cleanly past him. Trick ball from Waluigi. But no, Fireball sees through it with no item support. Hell, even with item support. It's a pretty good catch from Yellow Toad. For the first out of the inning. Dark Bones now. My boy. Good accuracy to land right on that arrow, but especially on daytime with those weaker arrow redirections, it's only good for a single. Now Toadette as we enter the second half of the Monarchs' batting rotation. Well, she might have a little bit of trouble, but no trouble there. A clean hit right up the middle. It's good for a single. That means Dark Bones and Toadette are both on for Blue Toad, who already hit a home run last game, so we got to keep an eye on him. Slider attempt, good single. Right up the middle, loads the bases for the Monarchs. And pressure remains for the captain versus captain, Peach, who has not had great batting performances in the second half of the season. Did well enough last game, but can she perform here? In this clutch situation, bases loaded, 1 out. She needs to avoid the double play. But she, knocks it right above Wiggler. And the Boo Random Assistant confuses the runners on base. Toadette is caught out at third, actually, after some indecisive base running. But Peach manages to avoid Wiggler's glove by inches and at least bring in a base runner. That'll open up the scoring. Toadette's trouble on the base running does lead to an out. Now it's up to Toadsworth. Now watch the first one fly. That's strike 1. Second one, he catches it. But he doesn't catch it good enough. Blooper picks up that ground ball. Throws it right to first for the third out. But Waluigi is not happy. Letting up the lead against the Monarchs is scary. It was the Spitballs? No, it was the Spitballs, yeah, who got the lead early last game. Wiggler, though, returns to his slap-happy bat, and a good slap results in a nice double for Mr. Consistency. Can Reggie capitalize? Toadsworth tries a slow ball, but Reggie's star hit is not able to avoid Firebro's fire catch. And Firebro turns the double play, catching off the fast Wiggler at second base to clear the bases with 2 outs on the board. Yellow Toad now. Last responsibility for the Spitballs this inning, hits it deep, but with chemistry in the outfield, Peach and Toadette actually barely able to snag that one. That was a high hit from Yellow Toad, assisted by the shorter outfield in the center, but it's still not good enough to avoid that outfield. Toadette and Peach keep them honest. Spitballs, no runs as we enter the third. Monarchs, plenty of potential for big homers, especially on a tight Waluigi, but they don't have any runners on, so the damage potential is relatively minimal right now. Petey Piranha got that good line drive to start off this game. Can they follow up that success at the top of the third on a slider? Yes, they can. Not exactly the same absolute powerhouse line drive, but it is good enough shallow center for a single. Boomerang Bro also against a tight Waluigi. Slaps the first pitch to him and is not fast enough with the item support to avoid the double play as Wiggler picks that up and clears the bases. So now it's Magic Cooper. 2 outs against the Monarchs this inning, and Blooper easily grabs the ground ball to make it 3. So the Monarchs, well, they did better in the second, but they're not good enough at the top of the third. Spitballs, meanwhile, who have not had a runner stay on base, at least. Miyamoto, first attempt for this inning, flies it right to Firebro for the first out. Wario now, the sub-captain, charges against the first pitch, but thinks better of it. Second pitch from Toadsworth, slider. Good contact from Wario, but not nearly good enough. That's a quick, easy pickoff by Boomerang Bro at the second base position. So it's the captain with 2 outs. He does hit a good, clean shot up the middle for a single. So, good efforts by the captain, at least keep the Spitballs alive in the bottom of the third. And Green Drybones, with a good slap of his own, gets a single. Waluigi is able to advance all the way to third, so that's it. Runners in the corners with 2 outs now, as Iwata, not Reggie, steps to the plate. Chance for the Spitballs to extend this lead, and Iwata makes good on it. A single to drive in the captain home. Sorry, not to extend this lead, but to tie the game. Why do I think the Spitballs had the lead? Oh yeah, it's because we started off last game with a 1-0 lead for the Spitballs. Now, though, they even it out and make it 1-1. Blooper, still with plenty of opportunity to bring in more runs. Runner on first, runner on second. Still 2 outs, though. Has to be careful. Any bad hit against this infield is more than enough to lose any progress, but no, a good deep hit, a little bit of item assistance to make sure, and Blooper's single brings in Green Drybones from second to give the Spitballs the go-ahead run and maintain or put back runners on the corners. Toadsworth with a better performance than last game, but he is taken off at the bottom of the third. Actually, no, I think there's a worse performance than last game from Toadsworth. Concerning even. Power block from Wiggler stuns Blue Toad out in left field, and uh-oh, that's another run for the Spitballs. And they found new life with a very, very scary looking small ball team emerging in this postseason. Blooper and Wiggler on second and third. Reggie hits it straight up the middle. More power block interference will not just let Blooper, but Wiggler touch home. And the Spitballs have scored 5 in the bottom of the third. If you're me, you're scared that Peach will start to tire early just like she did last game. It took until the 5th for the Spitballs to capitalize like this on Mario Stadium. And if Peach isn't able to bring this one in, as Yellow Toad pops out to right field and avoids the catch by Toadsworth, the green shell item will let Reggie advance all the way to third, and the hits keep coming against the Monarchs. Peach now, curveball, not able to avoid Miyamoto, who hits a good line drive out to right field. Guess what? In a very familiar situation, the Spitballs have runners on the corners, even though they've had 2 outs for the last 6 batters or so. So now it's Peach versus Wario, desperate for this out to end this inning. Tries a star pitch. Wario makes contact, drives it up the third baseline, but not in the park. That one's foul. Second attempt, finally. An attempt to sneak it past the infield is reeled in. Peach is embarrassed. And the Monarchs find themselves in a 5-run deficit heading into the fourth. Now Waluigi's taken off the mound. Wario brought in. And it looks like Firebro will have to start off something here for his team. It's a hit up the middle that avoids Wiggler's glove, but still, that's not what you need when your team is in this much trouble. Dark Bones slaps it out to right field. That's another good single. But now, all they've got is a runner on first, runner on second, and no outs against them. Can they keep that up? And the weaker section of their rotation, well, Toadette doesn't exactly start off strong. She grounds out to Wiggler at the shortstop position for a double play. Blue Toad keeps up the Toad narrative, though. And his shallow hit to center will at least allow the Monarchs offense to start. Firebro touches home base. That'll only leave a runner on first for the Monarchs now. Blue Toad stays there, tried to be caught out by Wario. But Captain Peach, who has hit into so many infields before, hit into yet another one. She's cleaned up by Blooper. That means that we don't see much from the Monarchs. A run is a run at the top of the fourth. It's a start. But we're looking at them on the defense as Peach is starting to tire, and it's only the bottom of the fourth. Waluigi needs to make something happen. Whiffs on the second pitch. Peach needs weak contact from him, but no, it's a solid hit out to left field for Waluigi as the Captain Peach continues to tire and is taken off earlier than she was last game. Magic Koopa brought into pitch, and it's only the bottom of the fourth. Well, he'll need to work his magic if the Monarchs want a chance in this game. Green Drybone's deep hit. The outfield should be able to clean this up as long as it's not too high. Yes. Blue Toad and Toadette snag that one. Waluigi kept honest on first. And Wada now up to the plate. Runner on first is a decent opportunity if they can keep this pressure going, and Iwata does. The arrow's almost helping out the Monarchs there to at least make sure it's not a double. We'll have to settle for a single, but they'll obviously happily take anything with a 4-run lead. Boomerang Bro was able to bring in a weak hit and what would have been a triple play, to be honest. Only needs to be a double to end the inning, so the Spitballs kept scoreless at the bottom of the fourth. But you gotta wonder, if the Monarchs bring in someone from their outfield to pitch after Magic Koopa gets tired, as he should relatively quickly, they'll have a broken outfield chemistry on Wario City. PD Piranha needs to make something happen. Not able to do so. Immediately caught out by Wiggler at shortstop. Excellent catch from the Worm. And Boomerang Bro steps up with 2 outs now. We need to see a bomb. It's here, now, or never. Fastball barely goes foul in right field. You gotta hope that doesn't happen. Boomerang Bro, though, does barely avoid Blooper's glove in the infield. So Magic Koopa now, again, responsibility to keep this inning going. We've seen good slap hits. A charge hit barely avoids Yellow Toad's glove and gets a single. So much of this lead could be erased in an instant if Firebro steps up to the plate, does his job, and hits a home run when he's needed. Don't slap it. Okay, Firebro watches the first pitch. Second pitch now. Charges. Good contact. It's high, but it's way too high, and it's too slow. Reggie and Yellow Toad make the buddy jump play, and that attempt by Firebro just doesn't have the momentum behind it to avoid the catch from Yellow Toad and Reggie, and the Monarchs remain down 4. We're entering the back half of this game. The Spitballs, if they can tire out Magic Koopa, have such a great opportunity to just continue running away with this game. Wiggler slaps it. It's good out to center field. Wiggler manages to make it to first. Now, Reggie up at the plate. Runner on first. Magic Koopa needs to force something weak out of Reggie here, otherwise he'll be in big trouble. Curveball. It's a weak hit indeed. Fireball and Boomerang Bro. The power block saves Wiggler's life. No. He's still caught out second, but it does save the double play. A little bit of weird fielding there, turning it over to Boomerang Bro and Fireball. Toadsworth not sure who's touching up on second base, but it's good enough to get the out on second. Reggie only has a single. Yellow Toad does clear the infield. The power block, I think, should stop Reggie from tucking second. Yes! Bad item usage keeps the Spitballs out of scoring position. And now Miyamoto steps up, slaps it, is able to avoid that infield. I almost thought that another item was going to stop them from reaching second, but no. Finally, runner on second for the Spitballs. Sub-Captain Wario steps up. It's a slider from Magic Koopa that forces Wario to watch the first pitch, trying something on the inside maybe. Curveball. Wario makes good contact though, and that will load the bases with 2 outs. A position the Spitballs have been in time and time again, and Waluigi has shown up in this series like he never has before, and with a good, clean hit out to right field, evading all the defense. That brings in 2 home. Wario could get caught out at third, but no, he slides in safely, and you're never gonna believe it. It's Waluigi on second, Wario on third, Magic Koopa taken off the mound, and Dark Bones brought in from behind home plate. It's just what the Monarchs need, but now they're down 6, and Dark Bones needs to start saving his team with these fastballs. Green Dry Bones with a strong hit out to left field. Wario and Waluigi both touch pay dirt. Dark Bones, who needed to save this team, looks like he might collapse in the bottom of the 5th as well. Finally, Iwata grounds out to the second baseman, and the Spitballs shoot up to an 8-run lead in the bottom of the 5th. The Monarchs, with their season on the line in the quarterfinals, are down 8 against the Spitballs as we enter inning 6. Good hit from Dark Bones is good for a single, but again, Dark Bones marks the end of the first half of the Monarchs rotation. We now have Toadette, Blue Toad, Peach, and Toadsworth, all of which have to show up great in slapping here. Toadette does her job. Solid slap to center field for a single. Blue Toad now. Next runner on the bases. Watches the first pitch. He needs a good slap here. Whiffs on the second. He doesn't need a strikeout. But on the slider, good slap. Is it too good? No, Yellow Toad's not able to snag it, but he is able to throw out Toadette at second. That does at least allow Dark Bones to reach third. Peach, responsibility of her team on her to avoid an infield hit. Watching the first pitch. Has to advance these runners on the corner. Second pitch. Catches the fastball. An excellent aim from her. And power block assistance lets Dark Bones reach home. Blue Toad reach third. And just like that, excellent hit from Peach. Okay, it doesn't put the Monarchs back in this game quite yet. They're still down by 7. But Every play matters. Toadsworth now. Will he keep this inning alive? Yes, a good deep hit out to right field is only good enough for a single, but it lets Peach reach third, and now it's the Monarchs who are able to constantly maintain runners on the corners and avoid those outs. Still a big hole they got to dig themselves out of as they're still down 6 runs. But that hole is getting smaller, especially as Petey Piranha steps up to the plate. Tons of home run caliber hitters with runners on the bases now. Petey Piranha charges, contact, line drive to left field. It doesn't get out of the park, but it lets Peach hit home. Toadsworth gets to second, so it's no longer runners on the corners, but it is a runner on first and second, and it is a 4-run inning so far for the Monarchs. Boomerang Bro is up next, and he's turned up huge so many times for the Monarchs. Didn't have a lot of luck last game, but on Wario Stadium, contact, no, that's caught a bobble from Yellow Toad in a crucial moment. The power from Boomerang Bro is too much, and it lets Toadsworth reach all the way home. It lets Petey Piranha reach third, and what could have been a massive double play to end the inning is a bobble from a Toad who has turned up so huge before. Wario's feeling stressed out about it. There's still only a 4-run gap now between the Monarchs and the Spitballs. Magic Koopa hits it deep but hits it foul. No luck for the Magic Man this time. Second pitch. Again, another charge hit. Excellently aimed here. It's a single, but it brings Petey Piranha home. And what was a 8-run deficit at the start of this inning has been reduced to only 3. The Monarchs firing back, tying out Wario, and ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a absolute bomb of a game now. The Monarchs are in position. Deep hit from Firebro. Silver Lily, did you curse the Spitballs on purpose? Silver Lily, my co-commentator in the chat right now, was like, yes, the Monarchs bring this back. Then they got absolutely destroyed. Then it was like, the Spitballs have to carry it out from here. Now the Spitballs deficit lead has been cut down to 3. Silver Lily now saying Monarchs actually have a really good chance of clawing it back now, and if I'm a Monarchs fan, I am just absolutely trying to hack into the stream and ban Silver Lily to stop that curse. Bases loaded, Toadette caught out, and the Monarchs, after an amazing inning for 5, are not able to bring in more. They're still 3 behind, but they have to be happy to be only 3 behind at this point. Blooper now, facing down Dark Bones. Evades the infield. I honestly thought that would have been a catch by Firebro, but he's not able to snag it. That's kind of the story of the Monarchs in this postseason. When will their big players show up like we know they can? Wiggler whiffs the first, contact with the second, but finally Boomerang Bro shows up and is able to secure the double play, tapping out Blooper at first base. Dark Bones has one more batter to get through the bottom of the 6th. Strike from Reggie, pitch 2. Deep hit from Reggie. If that stays fair, that's a home run. It hits the traffic pole. Incredible aim. Technically stays inside the park and counts as a solo bomb from Reggie. The light may say it's red, but that's a green light to go around the bases for Reggie. Mediocre news for the Monarchs. Firebro is brought in to pitch. On the one hand, that means he won't be in that ever-crucial shortstop position. On the other hand, the longer their infield stays intact, or their outfield stays intact, the better for them. Yellow Toad, good single. So, now Miyamoto faces down Firebro. Yellow Toad's going for a steal early. Good contact from Miyamoto, sends it deep, but not deep enough. Still, Yellow Toad, off all the momentum from that steal, races all the way to third, and now it's runners on the corners for the Spitballs with 2 outs. Fireball will need to get it past Wario, is just barely not able to do so. Wario evades the shortstop Dark Bones, and the Toads struggle to pick it up in the outfield. Wario, though, a little bit too greedy after seeing the struggles, and is tagged out at second base. Since he at least touched first, that run will still count. But now the Spitballs inning is over. They're back up to a 5-run lead, though. Can't complain from them. Have to try to get through this outfield at this point. Miyamoto will be under that fly ball. Yeah, no luck from the item there. Blue Toad is caught out for the first fly out of the inning. Peach now has to get her team going in the top of the 7th. 5 runs with 3 innings is not a lot of breathing room, but no, she grounds out to Blooper. And if the Monarchs want any offense in the top of the 7th, they'll have to do it with 2 outs on the board. Toadsworth charges, but watches the first pitch. Second pitch coming in. Pop fly. Yellow Toad able to get under that one. 3 up, 3 out for the Monarchs when they really don't need it. Means that they'll need to make up 5 runs in the 8th and the 9th. Spitballs, meanwhile. Waluigi has been absolutely killing it with his batting in this postseason and continues to do so. With a very strong slap up the center for a single. Green Drybone steps to the plate. Firebro tests his luck. Gets a good strike on the star pitch. Second pitch. Just a fastball, but Green Drybones makes good contact. Green Drybones makes deep contact. Green Drybones makes a 2-run bomb and extends the Spitballs lead from 5 to 7. No outs against them. Bottom of the 7th inning. Monarchs on their 5th pitcher. Awada, hit out to right field, is at least caught out by Toadsworth. Progress is progress. Blooper now faces down Firebro. First pitch is a strike. Second pitch now. Curveball. Blooper catches it and makes a good hit out to center field for a single. So it'll be responsibility now on the Monarchs to clean this up. Wiggler thinks about a charge hit, but against fastballs off of Firebro, I wouldn't go for it. Sells for the slap, caught out by Boomwing Bro, who turns to double play, and at least the Monarchs escape that inning. But huge responsibility on them. They need 7 in 2. The back half of their batting order is not known for consistency when they're needed. Neither is this man, Petey Piranha, not showing up in the playoffs as needed. His pop fly is caught by Reggie. So, now they have to deal with only a 2-out barrier. Boomwing Bro and Firebro, neither of which have had much success so far in this series. Boomwing Bro charges. That's a good hit, but is it good enough? No. Reggie and Yellow Toad, there with time to spare for the second out. And it looks like the Monarchs, after showing signs of life, might be the first team eliminated from the postseason. They have to make up a 7-run deficit still. Top of the 8th, Magic Koopa. Single, that is something. If Firebro can capitalize, it's something, but can Firebro capitalize? Charges. Good hit, but it's not the home run hit we need from him. It's only a single. So it'll be up to Dark Bones. Green Drybones hit a single already before. Dark Bones, well, we know you're capable of it. Do you go for it? Runner on first, runner on second, 2 outs, second pitch, contact, line drive up the center, caught by Yellow Toad because it had too much oomph behind it. And if the Monarchs want to get it done, they will need the highest scoring inning of this game in the top of their 9th, starting in the weakest possible spot in their batting rotation. Reggie, contact with the second pitch, slides it out to center field for a single. Absolute danger zone now. Firebro swapped out immediately. And Petey Piranha is brought in from third base to try to close out this game for pitching. Maybe close out this game for pitching if they're not able to get it done at the top of the ninth. 2 strikes off a Yellow Toad who was trying to bunt it. Fastball caught by Yellow Toad. Toadsworth not able to bring that in time to the right base for an out. Miyamoto, no outs. Runner on first, runner on second. Watches the first one. Second pitch coming in from PD Purana. Watches that one. Third pitch from PD Purana. Doesn't exactly have a curveball on him, so we do see the slap hit out to center field. Loaded bases. No outs for the Spitballs as sub-captain Wario steps to the plate. A star hit guarantees a run from him. If he's able to do it, does he do it? No, he's charging, catches the fastball, but Toadette keeps her glove on this one. Reggie barely makes it home though, and that means that's a run on first, run on second, and now the Monarchs are down by 8. Finally, their outfield is broken up. Blue Toad from left field brought in to pitch. Waluigi immediately testing that left field, but PD Piranha shoots it in. That does mean, as Waluigi will reach first safely, we have bases loaded, only 1 out. Green Drybones, who hit a bomb already this game, star hit out to left field, really testing PD Piranha, but PD Piranha keeps their hand on it and throws it in with plenty of speed to keep the runners honest. So 2 outs, bases loaded now. Blue Toad, can you get through the last batter you need to? Trying something on the inside. Curveball caught by Iwata, flies barely over Boomerang Bro's head, but Toadsworth and Toadette are not able to capitalize off it. 2 runs driven in for the Spitballs as it's a double from Iwata. Blooper now facing down Blue Toad. Deep hit to right. This should be a catch from Toadette and from Toadsworth, and it is. But that means the Monarchs need a 10-run inning in the top of the 9th, or their season is over. Can they do it? It starts out with Toadette. She's facing a fine relief pitcher of Iwata. Charging early. Does make good contact out to center right field. So she's done her job. That's a single. Pressure's on Blue Toad. We've seen big hits from this man already today. Can he keep it going? Charges. The inside slider finds its way past. Outside pitch now. Another slider. And Blue Toad misses the swing. Another inside. Slap from Blue Toad evades the infield, but the POW block trying to help just guarantees that Toadette is caught out at second, and that's the first out against the Spitballs. Peach grounds out to Blooper, double play, and just like that, the Spitballs absolutely storm through this series against the Monarchs, picking it up 2-0. And in a fashion that we were not expecting, dominate their way into a semi-finals appearance. Absolutely incredible performance from the Spitballs as they get that 7-17 scoreline. MVP honors go to Reggie. He did hit that home run off the light post in right field, didn't he? Yeah, I'll give it to him for style points. What an absolutely incredible game from the Spitballs. Disruptive small ball, turning this game upside down in the postseason. And a team that struggled to find its footing hits the ground running and score 2 double digits wins over the higher seeded team going into this game of the Monarchs. The Monarchs season is now over, so we will give them kudos as we head towards our score box score, excuse me. So for the Monarchs, it was a good effort from them. They really try. I thought that after a great attempt at a comeback in the, what was it, the fourth inning? The third inning. Sorry, the sixth inning. I'm completely wrong. I was looking at the third inning for the Spitballs. Jesus. I thought after that sixth inning, 5 runs, that they were all the way back in this game. But none of their big hitters were able to secure a bomb on Wario City. And the consistency curse strikes the Monarchs. The question that we've asked all season: if their big hitters show up, who does? Well, it's nobody for the Monarchs. And unfortunately, for them, they have been eliminated in the quarterfinals, and their season in Grand Slam Galaxy is over. That does mean that as early as the quarterfinals, the CPU Classic winner has been eliminated, and a new champion will reign over this league. For the Spitballs, what praises can I sing that I didn't sing last game? Despite going to a much more slugger enriching map, the Spitballs absolutely lock it down in incredible style defensively, and offensively, well, they got a few bombs in there. What really impressed me was the ability to just keep getting on base. Singles, doubles, item support, incredible consistency across the entire team leads to 2 high-scoring victories and the end of the Monarchs season. This means that the Spitballs, with, I cannot stress this enough, a run differential over those 2 games, a plus 24 over the Monarchs, will advance. Their semifinals opponents will be, let me double check, the Monsters, as they advance up the standings and make their way to the semifinals. Who will join the Rookies on the other side? Well, we'll have to find out now. The Musicians and the Flowers face each other in their quarterfinal, as I'm joined by my co-commentator and the home commentator for the Musicians, Silver Lily. Silver Lily, welcome to the commentator's booth.
Hello, Lily, and thank you for welcoming me in. That was a set of games that I don't think was what anyone was expecting to see from these 2 teams when they met each other today. When they played each other during the regular season, if I can pull up my records here, when they played each other during the regular season, both games went over to the Monarchs. They were close, a 3-5 game at DK Jungle during the day, and a 7-10 game at Mario Stadium during the night. Absolutely none of these complete blow-up performances from the Spitballs. So, I must congratulate the Spitballs for their performance today. I was watching from the crowd as it happened, and I just could not believe my eyes.
It was a very, very interesting game, to say the least. But that means that it is officially the end of the Monarch season, and we wish the Spitballs well in their next game. Before we get to that, though, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next series. Maybe a little bit of sweat on the brow for the Musicians as the third seed team, as they face off against the 6th seed team of the Flowers. Players getting ready for that right now. Silver Lily, tell me about the Musicians. Their season was a little bit trouble with consistency at the start, and then, like so many other teams, swapped around their roster a little bit, put their star power on the sub-captain of Donkey Kong, and really have turned it around and shown a lot of batting potential in the second half. Can you tell me more about their journey to get here?
Which team was that? Sorry, Willie, I was a little distracted. musicians. What can I say about the musicians that I haven't said a number of times already? They had a really rough start in this season. After after getting second in the Winter Classic, back when they were still branded as the Wilds, they went under a small roster shakeup, but definitely not the same size that most teams had undergone, rather, and seemed to be coming strong into the season with a 21 win against the Rookies right at the beginning of the season. And then the Rookies restructured and beat the Musicians 20-14. And since then, the Musicians had struggled to find their footing, often going 1-1 in games with both the best and worst teams in the league, keeping themselves roughly middle of the pack, but always making fans ask the question, are the Musicians a good team? Are they a bad team? Or is the middle exactly where they belong? Throughout that time, they had been undergoing a few different roster changes. A little bit of experimentation. They swapped around who had their star power, who was in their infield, who was in their outfield, until they finally settled on this configuration, and this one has been doing excellently for them. I believe they have won all 6 of their last 6 games. They swept all 3 of their final series in the league. Wow, all of my terms have gone away tonight, Willie, and my apologies. But they swept all 3 of their final series during regular play. And clawed their way to the 3rd seed, the solo holder of the 3rd seed in the league.
Well, now their mettle will be tested, as despite blowing past the Flowers, actually no, when the last we had the Musicians and the Flowers square off against each other was in series oh hey, no, it was in the back half of the league. It was in series 6. The Musicians narrowly beat out the Flowers on Yoshi Park 7-8, and then much more securely won it on Warrior City 2-6. That series is actually what cued the Flowers shakeup. The Flowers were a team which we praised ever since the start of the league as a defensive powerhouse. We loved their outfield. We loved Daisy on the mound. Our only question for them is who comes up big and who hits when the team needs it. And the team had so many struggles with that throughout so much of the season, finding themselves near the bottom of the league for so long. However, Series 7, with their entire season on the line, they did a massive shakeup. For the first time, taking their star playing power off of off of Daisy and putting it onto Blue Critter, rearranging a lot of their hitters towards the front of their lineup, placing Daisy, who used to start it, back in the back, adding on to Daisy to bring us the Daisy chain in that 7, 8, 9 batting slot, and really raising the question now of how good is this team? Because in Series 7, in their final series where they did this rebrand, they came up big when they needed to and 2-0'd the Fire Eggs. If they lost either of those games, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. But not only did they 2-0 the Fire Eggs, they did it in convincing fashion, scoring big on Junior's Playroom, a defensive map, and then continuing that offensive domination, beating the Fire Eggs by double digits at Yoshi Park to secure them a playoff spot. Now, well, the pressure's on for the Flowers. They have a relatively new mixed up team coming into this with new offensive potential and, as always, a pretty solid defense, but both of which will be tested heavily against the Musicians, who have one of the best sluggers in the lead, Donkey Kong, maybe arguing he'll try for the strongest slugger in the playoffs starting now, a great outfield, a pretty solid pitching rotation, again with Donkey Kong, and we'll have to see whether the Musicians, who found their footing first, will take this series or whether the Flowers will springboard ahead and absolutely destroy all comers. Excuse me.
I know Musicians fans are a little bit worried today because the Fire Eggs, the ones that the Flowers beat in such convincing fashions, are one of the teams that the Musicians had fallen to 0-2. So,
Well,
transitive property might tell you that the Flowers are going to take this over the Musicians, despite what happened when they had previously met.
the transitive property, since when has baseball ever been about math? The Musicians get home field advantage to start off this quarterfinal, and we welcome ourselves to the second series of the night. Good luck to both teams as we head into the Musicians' home stadium for this series. Welcome to Yoshi Park Night.
Yoshi Park is a stadium that has been very kind to the Musicians this season. Even when their beloved DK Jungle had let them down at some points, Yoshi Park, they have never actually dropped a game here. Going to start things off. I realized I was watching the wrong thing. I have the stream up on a second screen so I can keep an eye on the chat, but that is slower than the direct stream that you are giving to me.
Let me slap that tablet away from you in the commentator's booth as this game starts, and I ask you to turn your eyes forward. A wonderful catch by the Piranha Plant in the outfield lets Blue Pianta avoid a pop fly out and actually reach first for a single. This is gonna be a curious one. Yoshi Park Night, despite the Musicians showing a very good mastery over it beforehand, is one of those stadiums that can lead to such quick amounts of chaos. The train, the Piranha Plants at night, lots of opportunity for wild plays to be made by a Conscious' team, and Blue Critter trying to make that happen is denied by the outfield. Dixie Kong and Tiny Kong make the buddy catch to avoid that huge triple home run, and the Musicians absolutely stall out the terrifying part of the Flowers offense at the top of the first. Good effort from them to keep it scoreless.
If it weren't for such a good catch from the Piranha Plant, it would have been easy catch by the captain Miku in order to end that inning with 3 up, 3 down. Instead, we see 2 get on base and then a quick desperation out at the wall by the outfield. Now with the Musicians up at the plate, Tato, their starting pitcher, will go down right away with a ground out to Daisy, but Funky Kong will take it long with a single out to center.
Still, on a stadium like this, any start that doesn't involve Funky Kong knocking it out of the park is pretty solid for the Flowers, and they will capitalize extra on it, turning the double play to shut down both Tiny Kong and Funky Kong, and make sure that the Musicians aren't able to score in the first either.
That's some of that excellent fielding we've seen from Blue Critter all season, now star empowered. Always had some excellent speed and able to take outs at bases other players wouldn't have been able to with his cannon of an arm and laser of a throw. Baby Daisy is going to hit one out, but yet YP over in... Wow, I am so sorry. I am scrambled today. YP over in shortstop is going to snag that one out of the air, and Daisy isn't going to find much luck either as Boshi the Rock over at second base reels it in with the tongue.
That means that the Flowers will be scoreless through the first 2 attempts, and the Musicians have an excellent opportunity as Donkey Kong, the slugger, steps up. Not a lot of luck earlier for big sluggers on the Monarchs when they were trying to step up. But Donkey Kong reminds everybody why he's a captain tier player by immediately hitting a huge bomb straight out of the park to open up this game.
You could see he wanted it immediately. He may have looked at the first, but he had been charging right away. And it's a beautiful angle. That left field wall is a very vulnerable spot on Yoshi Park. The center fielder has to run so far in order to try and make the buddy jump, and we just weren't able to see it this time, as Baby Daisy does not have the speed required. Speaking of speed, Dixie Kong, the fastest player on the Musicians, able to run to first off of that hit to center, and Miku's looking to take advantage of it as well. Advances the runner with a bunt, doesn't quite make it to first, but does put a runner in scoring position for Purple Toad.
Toads have been such consistent hitters in this league, and Toadjima is not able to keep that one up. His line drive picked up by the center fielder, but Dixie Kong remains safe on second. We'll have to see if she's stranded there as YP steps up to the plate, charges, good hit to right field, knocks it plenty deep, and the buddy throw will make sure no extra bases are snatched, but it's more than enough for Dixie Kong to run home and give the Musicians a 2-run lead here in the second.
Captain Miku validated on that bunting position. Just needed to advance Dixie Kong to second, took a couple batters, but YP was able to bring Dixie Kong home and create that lead. Boshi the Rock is now just going to pop out to Daisy at second base, end the inning. They'll be going back into the third at the top of their lineup, but first they have to sit down the top of the Flowers lineup. Well, the very end of it first.
Possibilities here abound for Daisy as she hits a good bomb out to left field. Dixie Kong not going to be in there to catch it, but the high wall from the train tunnel will make sure it doesn't get out of here. So Daisy nets herself a double, and Mr. Consistency with a chance up at the plate to start bringing the captain home if he can get past Tato.
Mr. Consistency gets some consistency with a single out to left center field. That's the one. He'll put runners on the corners and bring Tyler 1 up to the plate. No outs for the Flowers, and they have been excellent at small ball ever since their lineup lineup shuffle. However, some bad fire play will result in Mr. Consistency taking the bullet for Boshi the Rock, and an easy double play by the Musicians infielders.
I'm not sure that fireball would have been there in time anyway, but it definitely has got to be morale boost against the Flowers dugout. Blue Pianta immediately at least redeems himself a little with a good single hit. Soda Poppin', also a good single out to center field.
For what it's worth on Tyler's play, we did see Daisy run in to make it only a 1-run lead. Now it's up to Blue Critter, gonna put another long ball out there, trying to give his team the advantage. Miku's got it. Well, not quite. Bounces off the wall, and another will run in to tie up the game.
Those are 2 home runs that avoided being home runs by inches. I think maybe Dixie Kong knew that was in the park, which is why she didn't hustle, but still, not being there means there's no catch, means there's a double, means that there's another run in, and runners on second and third as Blue Yoshi steps up. But no, actually, I thought he was going to be caught out by Boshi, but barely evades it. The buddy throw into home base forces a close call, but Blue Critter muscles past Donkey Kong, allows Blue Yoshi to reach second off that play, and just like that, the Flowers scrape back a lead in this game.
That will flip the lead around entirely, going from 2 runs Musicians to 2 runs Flowers. Tato's still not tiring. An excellent hit by Blue Yoshi, not known as much of a batting threat. Tato's going to start putting a little bit of star power finesse into these pitches, try and get Baby Daisy out. Another missed dive by YP. And now Tato's starting to think maybe she doesn't want to be here anymore.
Well, the Daisy chain has started. Baby Daisy with a good single. Daisy with a pop out to left field, but it's too strong. Lets Captain Miku get under it. It ends the inning as the Flowers fire back with 4 runs off good team play. Now the question for the Musicians as they step up, will it be team play or will it be big bombs as they try to get their offense going? Well, Tato gets on base and sets up
Tato
Funky
calling
Kong for the
for
possibility
shot.
of either's. Calling a
Started
shot.
charging up well. Luigi had wound up. Got a single off of it due to a weird low hit. Funky Kong now calling his shot. He wants it far out there. Do they have the height? They do. They'll find the out and then get run over. Tato stays on first, even with train interference, doesn't want to risk being a second out at second base.
If there's one thing I know about children, is that they love trains. Getting hit by them, maybe not so much, but Baby Daisy recovers fine enough, and her and Blue Yoshi make the play. That does mean 1 out, 1 runner on Tiny Kong now. If she can get a good single and put 2 runners on for Donkey Kong, who already hit a big home run. No! Her pop caught out by Blue Critter at shortstop, who lasers it in for the double play to end the Musicians' inning.
Unfortunately, Willie, I seem to be having some connection issues.
Uh-oh.
Like, real bad internet problems right now.
That's funny because you said you had connection issues and then you broke up in the middle of you saying that you had connection issues. Mr. Consistency, line drive out to center field. I hope it resolves itself as we head in. And Tato, the starting pitcher for the Musicians, is taken off the mound as Donkey Kong, ever the powerful relieving pitcher, is brought in at the top of the 4th. Dangerous fastballs, dangerous star pitch potential. Tyler 1 needs to not swing into this, but he does. Puts enough power behind it to force a bobble from Boshi the Rock, and Luigi might get tagged out. Dangerous position for Mr. Consistency, but he barely manages to reach second.
Boshi moving to third and letting Funky Kong chase down Luigi there. Bit of an interesting decision. It's going to result in loaded bases as Blue Pianta takes the next hit. Now it's Soda up at bat. Another fastball from Donkey Kong, and another one caught all of. But Dixie Kong's actually able to put a stop to that one, and Luigi will get caught running home. Musicians make it out of that jam without any runs. And now they come in with their powerhouse pitcher and sub-captain Donkey Kong. I'm seeing it very slow, but a little bit of train interference is going to make that an easy home run.
Let me make it a little bit harder for you to see and see if that helps at all. So we'll cut down that and we'll cut down that. You're going to watch a bit of a slideshow, but we'll see if it helps. Dixie Kong.
I'm going to see if I can't diagnose some network problems.
Oh, here, let me actually do you one better on this. As Dixie Kong can't avoid the infield, Blue Critter catching her out. It's up to Captain Miku with 1 out against her to start her team going a little bit better. Good hit up the center will let her reach first base. It'll be responsibility, lots of responsibility placed on these Musicians in the back half of the batting order to be the change that this team needs. Boo, though, helps Tojima reach first, helps Miku, actually more importantly, get all the way to third off of what might have been only a single base advancement for her. And now YP.
YP hoping to tie the game here with a good hit. Even just a sacrifice fly would be enough. That is a long ball. Train's gonna come in. It's gonna knock out both players twice. What should have been an easy catch is gonna see YP running to second, and Miku and Tojima coming in to home to turn the lead back around. Yoshi Park reminding the musicians why it's been their favorite stadium this season.
Boy, I was ready and waiting for that to be a home run after it landed in the train, but it barely dodged it. Yeah, well, you know what? For a team that has been described as a circus so many times by its beloved home commentator, they surely do love a little bit of tomfoolery. As Daisy catches that line drive attempt out to left field and puts us to 2 outs now, with YP still on second base. Notably, Luigi is starting to tire. Daisy does wheel in the last out of the inning at least to cut that short for the musicians, but they've more than advanced through their batting order to try to get to those dangerous sluggers of Funky Kong and Donkey Kong once again.
It's exactly what they wanted to do that inning, wrap right back around to the threatening part of their lineup after a leadoff home run from Donkey Kong. Blue Critter trying to make something happen, but that slap will go right into the glove of Boshi the Rock. And now a hero of their last scoring inning, Blue Yoshi, up at bat, charging up, wants to find that long ball again, but isn't going to past these DK fastballs. Instead, that slap's going to go right to shortstop YP. And Baby Daisy has to start the daisy chain, staring down a 2-out, no runners on inning. Some boo support's going to help out big there, though, and the daisy chain will start getting on base.
Daisy has to try to follow that up, but she'll have to do so through a DK star pitch. She needs to not swing. She takes the bait. The shell item not hitting its mark. Donkey Kong barely avoids it. Throws the fastball straight to Tojima at first. Catches the out and ends the inning for the Flowers. They'll have to stay run down, and a very tired Mr. Consistency will need to find his way past both Funky Kong and Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, who had both his at-plate appearances so far, has hit a home run.
Blue Yoshi just kind of watches that one hit the ground. Funky Kong settling for a single here. Mr. Consistency really starting to tire. We're probably going to see that pitcher switch soon. Tiny Kong now finding that one, sending it long. Is that going to go over the left field wall? I can't tell. It is a 2-run home run by Tiny Kong, reminding everyone that Donkey Kong and Funky Kongs aren't the only Kong with power behind their bat. Daisy and Baby Daisy watching it go over. And that will be the end to Luigi's pitching performance in this game.
That means that Daisy is brought in to try to temper the storm here and stop Donkey Kong from keeping this absolutely destructive inning going. The star pitch forces a weak hit. Blue Critter needs to not get scared of the bomb-on, but he does. That'll allow Donkey Kong to at least reach first. Dixie Kong has the responsibility of advancing the runner. Another star pitch from Daisy here. Dixie Kong falls for it. This pow block interference, though. And this one does hit Luigi.
An interesting base running choice by Donkey Kong. Ran back to avoid the pow block, but didn't have the speed to make it back to second base in time. It was basically a matter of who wanted to get out there. Donkey Kong chose to take the hit and leave it up for better base runner Dixie Kong. The bobble from Luigi there will still be caught, and Miku will still be out, meaning there's still only one on with Tojima up.
The train did just pass, so this one should land, yes, with plenty of time before it comes around again. That means that the musicians, off a 2-run bomb from, let me check my notes, Tiny Kong? Reach a 3-run lead as we enter the back half of this game. Captain Daisy, batter number 9 for her team. Responsibility falls on her to start this magic going, and she makes good contact, but it's too good contact as Dixie Kong will catch that out in center field.
Batter number 9, former number 1, used to being the leadoff hitter for her team, but unfortunately that means a lot of teams are used to her leading off the inning. Dixie Kong in the perfect spot to pick that one up, and Luigi will not find much either. Tyler 1 up to the plate now. Another player that's performed excellently for his team this season will just hit a line drive right out to first base. A good hop by Tojima. Flowers are struggling a little bit in the second third of the baseball game.
Responsibility will be on them to come back. They have a decent chance to keep the musicians quiet, a weaker part of the rotation, but first, they get past the absolute incredible slap hitter that is YP. YP does his job pretty beautifully, knocking a single in. If they want anything, it'll have to be some sort of double play off Boshi the Rock's bat, but off a charge hit straight up the center, boo item interference, that is not going to be the case. This might even allow Pianta to run home. They will. The double from
Going to
Boshi.
go for it. If any player could have made that out, it would have been Blue Critter, but it doesn't quite get to him in time and thus doesn't quite get home in time. Yellow Pianta able to run home off a good hit and a good item from Boshi the Rock.
Teal follows. Teal recognized Teal as Tato comes up but is not able to support Boshi, hitting right into Luigi, who quickly turns it around for the double play. That definitely cuts the base running potential as Funky Kong steps up to the plate. Hasn't got a home run for him yet this game, and now he has. The absolute powerhouses for the musicians continue racking up the score as the big home run hit from Funky Kong is the third home run for the musicians so far this game. They lead this game by 5.
Four, I believe. 4 home runs. We've seen
2 from Donkey Kong, 1 from Tiny, and 1 from Funky Kong. You're right, 4.
Yep, but the third batter to hit a home run. Tiny Kong will not repeat her performance from the last inning. Instead, she will just knock it over to the second baseman, Luigi, who sends it over to Tyler 1 for the quick out and end the inning. 5 runs down now. It's up to Blue Pianta to start things off for his team. Finds the ball with enough power to avoid Donkey Kong's devastating star pitch, but it turns foul, and he'll have to settle for a slap up center.
Excellent opportunity for Soda Poppin with a good hit here to put 2 runners on, and he does just that. If the Piranha Plant catches it, which they do... No, actually, excuse me, doesn't nab it. Dixie Kong grabbed it just in time away from the plant's mouth. Kept a bad play from happening. Now a deep hit from Blue Critter, but without enough speed behind it, Tiny Kong stops because she knows it's inside the park, and bouncing off the wall and a little bit of indecision from the outfielders saves a big catch from happening. An excellent aim from Blue Critter keeps the bases loaded with no outs.
Very dangerous situation to be in, and DK knows it, but Blue Yoshi knows to put power on that pitch. It's gonna curve foul again, and lucky for the musicians that it did, because that had the ability to go over the wall. We're gonna see a star pitch this time, and it's gonna force a bobble from Yellow Pianta. Little bit of confusion from Dixie Kong there, just watching it go for a while, and instead of getting any outs, the team will get 2 runs and 2 on still.
Excellent play from Blue Yoshi, the awareness to know to use that star hit to hit through DK. That brings us to a very convincing scoreline, 6-9, as Baby Daisy simply hits it to Boshi, who turns the double play. It keeps a runner on third. Blue Critter, opportunity to make this a 2-run game if he manages to get in, but no. Daisy hits a ground out to shortstop. The runner is stranded at third. No outs to 3 just like that. And the musicians stem the bleeding for now and keep a 3-run lead.
They're definitely going to want to try and tack on some runs here with the revelation that DK is tiring on the mound. While DK is one of the best relievers in the league and creates a stacked front to the musicians' pitching, they don't have much depth past him. He, of course, is continuing his consistent solo performance of putting bombs over any part of the wall he wants.
Has Donkey Kong hit a home run on every single at-bat for the last 3 games?
Not for the last 3 games. I don't
Dixie
think.
Kong reaches a double off power block interference, letting her avoid grounding out to the second baseman. But as Daisy starts to tire, runner in scoring position, 0 out still. She needs to find her way past Captain Miku. Anything helps. That certainly won't. The line drive out to left field. Well, it's an out as it's caught by the left fielder of Daisy. But is it enough to stop the bleeding? Well, Tojima doesn't think so. He wants a good slap here. Whiffs.
Gonna whiff. Finds the third hit and pops it just over the head of Blue Critter. Dixie Kong advances to third and Tojima to first. Runners on the corners with only 1 out. And YP up at bat spells danger for the Flowers, but leave it to Blue Critter to turn that danger into an ended inning. An excellent jump and great throw over to third. Catches Dixie Kong off guard before she can run back.
Now the Musicians. Excellent opportunity from them to seal this game as Donkey Kong starts to tire. The line drive from Daisy is caught out by the left fielder of Captain Miku, so captain versus captain on that play. Mr. Consistency with 1 out against him hits an excellent hit out to left field. Train interference goes the way of the Flowers this time, and Luigi, with a little bit of help, hits a solo bomb.
He's gonna keep the lead to 3 runs. Very accomplishable, especially as DK steps off the mound and into the infield. Here's Yellow Pianta to deliver a few fastballs.
We'll have to keep our eye on Yellow Pianta. DK bobbles? Not forced by the boo, just straight up bobbles the ground hit as Tyler 1 safely reaches first base. Now Blue Pianta with a chance, charging up to try to hit it right past YP. Catches the curveball attempt out to left field, but Captain Miku is right where she needs to be to make that catch and make it 2 outs.
Strike 1 against Soda Poppins as he watches the first one and then watches a ball come in after it. Some good plate discipline here. Gonna take the charge hit this time. Sends it out to left center field, and a little boo support's gonna delay the response from Dixie Kong in the outfield. Tyler 1 looking to try and go home. Donkey Kong not quite able to catch him. That'll bring it down to a 2-run lead. Flowers small ball in full effect here.
Tyler 1 reaches second, and you gotta give credit to the Flowers. They used to have so much trouble just getting 5-run games. That was the barrier that was set up for them. Wait, opportunity for Train here. No, Tiny Kong is barely out of range of the train and does make that catch on another attempt at a deep hit from Blue Critter, but without enough power and without enough speed, Tiny Kong is able to barely behind the train stay in place and make that catch. Now,
Unflappable Mian walking back to the dugout for that one, after that one. Looks like she wasn't scared at all. I know I'd be terrified standing on the other side of those train tracks.
Bottom of the 8th.
Boshi. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. Bottom of the 8th means that Boshi and the Musicians have a great chance to try to extend this lead as the successful batter number 9 means we're back to the top of the order. Pending a Tato disaster off the pitches from Daisy, well, there's an opportunity to absolutely blast ahead the lead as the Musicians are back to their deep, deep sluggers. And Tato does exactly her job with a single up the middle, putting a runner on first, runner on second. Funky Kong charges, blasts it, but doesn't get outside the park. Blue Yoshi makes the catch and keeps the runners honest, but there's a ticking time bomb. DK, who has hit home runs every single at-bat this game, is up next after Tiny Kong, so if the Flowers are not able to shut her down now, and they are not, especially with a missed opportunity from Baby Daisy that allows Boshi to run all the way home, I'm just going to congratulate the musicians now on a 6-run lead and take a strong sip of water.
We'll see if Donkey Kong maintains his batting consistency. For his 4th at-bat, the team is terrified, and they're sending infielder Blue Critter with a fresh arm onto the mound to face the sub-captain. DK finds the pitch immediately and sends it over the wall despite the buddy jump attempt for a 3-run home run. The Flowers had everything to fear and they knew it, but DK's glove is inevitable.
That takes us to an 8-14 scoreline, and every attempt by the Flowers to bring this back crushed, and crushed again, as DK almost alone, with great performances from the rest of this team, but has now driven in 7 runs? 4 homers.
I think seven, yes. I think one of the other home runs was a 2-run home run.
DK alone has brought his team from a -1 deficit to a +6 lead heading into the 9th inning. The Flowers need to score the biggest inning of this game, starting from batter number 6.
Well, we can't quite say it was DK alone. Other batters had to get on base in order to make it happen. If it was DK alone, they would not be in this game.
DK hit a home run literally every single at-bat. I will not let you downplay this. DK destroyed. I'm not downplaying.
He's been doing amazingly this game. Do not get me wrong. DK is an absolute threat out on the field. Just remember that the run batted in matters just as much as the run you got yourself.
Well, the only thing keeping this going for the Flowers, for Daisy, to stop her from grounding out, is a well-timed power block to disable the infield, and now Captain Daisy, 2 outs, runner on second, is all her team has left to keep them in this game. A star bat hit from her, very rarely seen, but it's good enough, keeping the outfielders out for her to get tagged out by a buddy throw at second by inches, and despite batting in 1 more run, the game ends in a shocking, fast moment off the captain's bat.
Captain Miku may appreciate some theatrics. Watches the Daisy flower field planted by the captain's bat, but ready to show off some of her own with that buddy throw. I was not expecting the game to end there, Willie.
Neither was I. You could probably tell by my commentary. Flowers versus Musicians game number 1 goes convincingly the way of the Musicians, and an incredibly consistent scoreline from them, stepping on the gas in inning 4 and not letting off it for the entire rest of the game, scoring 5 innings in a row to secure a 5-run victory. Incredible performance from the Musicians.
That was their choice of home stadium for this series, so we will see if the Flowers can turn it around on their own. And what was the Flowers' home stadium for this game, Willie?
Bowser Jr.'s Playroom.
Do not think we have seen the Musicians play there this season. The Flowers have had some excellent performances on there, including one of their 2 amazing last-ditch effort games against the Fire Eggs. It's definitely a home stadium you can count on.
Now, before the Flowers are able to go there, we're going to have to talk about their performance on Yoshi Park. By all means, a very solid performance still for them, despite falling. They got 9 runs in, and I want to commend Luigi and Daisy for doing a good job sticking with it, despite the Musicians taking a pounding. A lot of teams would end on pitcher number 5. the Flowers only ended on pitcher number 3. So if they're able to cut down the Musicians' offense later games in this series, I think that Luigi and Daisy will be able to outlast and outgum a lot of the pitching rotation that the Musicians may bring to the forefront. That is, of course, if they can stop them. And, well, in order to stop them, you need to shut down the Musicians, who off of the amazing bat of Donkey Kong, supporting home runs from Funky Kong and Tiny Kong, and solidly consistent play from the rest of the order, brought in a very, very solid 14 runs in that game.
And as you pointed out, half of them came off the glove of Donkey Kong, never hitting anything other than a home run at his time at bat this game.
Well, we'll have to see whether or not that big slugging potential follows for the Musicians. The Flowers are a little bit in danger, as of course the tiebreaker for this series is in Wario City. But to get there, first the Flowers need to win a game on our next map as we head to Bowser Jr.'s Playroom. Now, on this one, the Flowers do get home field advantage, and they've shown us how solid their outfield can be. There's a lot less potential for big home run bombs on this game, so I think that this was a very solid pick by the Flowers to take us to Bowser Jr.'s Playroom. How do you think the Musicians will stack up on this field?
The Musicians have only been to one of the Bowsers once this season, and it was in their second game against the Rookies right at the beginning. As we've seen from just this prior game alone, they rely very heavily on a slugging-based offense. Get onto the base so Funky Kong or Donkey Kong can bring you home. With a little bit of slap support from YP, and just that's their general game plan. This is one of those stadiums that's very hostile to that game plan, with high walls that are far away from the plate. So I think they might struggle here, Willie.
We'll have to see what they're able to do as we head in to Game 2 of this series. The Flowers have their playoff life on the line, and the Musicians look to step on the gas. I'm just making sure in my brain that I didn't miss anything. Nope, we are all set and ready to go for Game 2 of the Quarterfinals, Series 2, as the Musicians are brought to the Flowers Playroom. I'm curious now. I gotta check. So just to set a mark for both these teams, in terms of the highest scoring team on Junior's Playroom, that was actually the Spitballs, who scored 11 on it in Series 6 versus the Bows. So no team except teams playing against the Bows. Am I looking at this right? Tato, after a good foul, simply grounds out to first. And yeah, no teams who weren't playing against the Bows have ever scored double digits on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom.
And this is exactly what I was talking about, with it being bad for the Musicians' usual offense, though their item support coming in clutch there to turn what on other parks would have been a home run, on this park would have been a pop fly, into a triple with some fire assistance.
Pressure will definitely be on the Musicians to adapt. Those deep hits can still result in excellent plays, as the sacrifice
fly to bring Funky Kong home. Tiny Kong still relying on the long ball, even though it's much more vulnerable here to get the score lead.
That was a concerning black screen there that made me almost jump a little bit. But Donkey Kong, well, so far he's perfect for home runs in this series, but on Junior's Playroom, Don't.
I think this is going to turn foul, Willie, but it was a close thing. Donkey Kong's got something to prove here. We've seen other players hit home runs on this stadium before. It doesn't happen super often, and it's not quite gonna happen here. He is going to settle for a slap that will just barely be grabbed, but is it
She's
just
fine.
Krista Daisy missing her face?
She's fine. She's fine. Still, the musicians, 4 batters, 1 run to start off this first game on Junior's Playroom. Well enough. It'll be up to the Flowers, who made their mark in this territory in Series 7, to try to step on the gas, but unfortunately missed a consistency, caught out by a very good catch from Boshi the Rock at second base. So it'll be Tyler 1's responsibility to get something going. But no, Boshi proves a wall to him too as he pops out to the second baseman.
Boshi has been such a crucial defensive player for the Musicians, absolutely locking down plays over at second base. Hence the nickname Boshi the Rock, that is referring to nothing else at all, I assure you.
Spelled
Nope.
B-O-S-H-I.
Yes.
Boshi. Dixie Kong with a fine single out to right field now to open up the Musicians at the top of the second. And Captain Miku.
This might be the part of the order that the Musicians have to rely on this game, because this is their slap offense. Decent speed and running, but slap offense is very hard to muster against this Flowers infield. You can't rely on those hits up the center. You often can against other teams. Daisy and Blue Critter are determined to catch you out at second.
Tojima at least keeps the inning going with a nice slap to right field for a single, and YP looks like almost they don't want to slap. Looks like they want a deep hit against the Ouija, but settles on the second. Unfortunately, not enough power behind it. Blue Critter easily picks up that grounder. Turns the out at second for the third out to end the inning. So the Musicians go scoreless in the second. Now the Flowers, lots of responsibility on them. They have to try something in this game, or else they're going to be in deep trouble. And Soda Poppin', his line drive along the first baseline, quickly caught out by Tojima.
What can often be a very dangerous hit or an instant out, that line drive up first or third. This time it was the instant out. Blue Critter looking to be the first to hit a home run, and is going to do so, bouncing off the top of the wall and past Dixie Kong's glove. Miku not running there in time. That will tie up the game.
A 1-1 scoreline for the Flowers as their investment in a new star hitter pays well in the bottom of the second in this ever crucial game. But in order for them to really be in this, the rest of the team also has to turn up, and with Blue Yoshi being caught out by Boshi at second base, putting 2 outs on the board, well, they'll tie, but their margin to try to take the lead is getting smaller and smaller as we enter the daisy chain.
Daisy Chain's gonna start it off with a long foul off the left side. Baby Daisy, a sometimes surprisingly effective batter, is going to find a single off a missed hop by Boshi.
We don't gotta worry about that.
Something is wrong.
To Daisy, maybe a little bit of nerves on her as, well, she's not feeling herself today, but excellent pow block aim by the captain Daisy to deny the double play, keep her team in this, and follow up the daisy chain. 2 singles from the first 2 outs the whole time. Captain Daisy charges, but is caught out by YP at shortstop, who's going to put an end to that inning and keep the Flowers at only 1 on the scoreboard.
We're getting the teal part of the lineup for the Musicians with Boshi, Tato, and Funky Kong. They're gonna have to see if they can repeat some of their performances from earlier in the game. Boshi with a nice slap triggering the chain chomp. Won't matter much, nor will the Boo. Able to run to first, but nowhere else. And it's Tato up.
Responsibility on the batter. Deep hit. Home run potential. But no. The outfield gets there with plenty of time and stops the excellent, surprisingly strong hit from the leadoff batter, or the top of the order batter of Tato. That means that Boshi will remain on first, 1 out, as we continue this inning. Funky Kong now with a chance to advance that runner and advance the scoreboard should the Musicians choose to pick up their first home run of the game.
Strike one, watched it looking, started to charge, but didn't find it. Second one's gonna throw it far. It's looking like another home run attempt. Bananas will not be fired in time, but neither will the buddy jump. And Funky Kong responds to Blue Critter's solo home run with a 2-run one of his own.
Now, no even chance to end the inning before the dynamite captain or sub-captain of DK comes up. Tiny Kong, not as much luck as on Yoshi Park. She'll ground out to shortstop. And, well, Funky Kong hit one. Blue Critter hit one. DK, his first attempt goes foul.
That's strike one. Batters in this league don't like going for home runs on the third strike, but Donkey Kong's gonna find it on the second for a solo shot home run, bringing his team to 4-1.
Not even Junior's Playroom, the hardest field to hit a home run, can stop Donkey Kong's momentum in the playoffs. That leads the Musicians now to a 3-run lead, and Dixie Kong steps up to the plate.
Best it managed was to slow him down a little, Willie. It did break his nothing but bombs streak in the first inning, but that is all it has done so far.
So now it's up to Mr. Consistency, Luigi. His team needs runners on base and needs to start running small ball if they want back into this, but he's going to be shut down by an excellent play from Boshi the Rock, locking down that second base position.
Tyler 1 up now. The team has shown that they can do small ball, and they were so close earlier in the game, just barely getting shut down in the middle of the daisy chain. A little bit of bobble from Boshi is going to result in a single for Tyler 1, and Blue Pianta looks to bunt to advance the runner with 1 out.
Look at that. It's a Pianta bunt. It's your favorite.
Well, looks like it's not going to happen. Instead, we're going to see a slap, and that might be for the better for this team, as it means that both Pianta and Tyler 1 advance a base, and there are 2 runners on for Soda.
Soda with an opportunity to try to load the bases with a solid slap hit, but will he go for more? Charges. Good contact out to center left. Boo item in the pocket, used a little late, but with more than enough time. Blue Pianta now might get caught out at home. It's a slow runner, but barely manages to tag up to third. So, Soda Poppin' does go for more. The good double will allow Tyler 1 to touch up at base and shorten this lead from the Musicians. Runners on second and third. 1 out for Blue Critter. Is there 1 out?
1 out.
I'm so proud of myself for remembering that.
It was an excellent line drive by Soda. Blue Critter looking to repeat his performance from his last at-bat, put one over the wall. Actually is going to use a star pitch and just follow in Soda's footsteps. We're going to see another buddy throw home to cut off Soda, who's going to get caught in a jam, but once again, the Flowers runner caught in the jam between home and third makes it back to third before DK's throw.
Blue Pianta at least able to catch up. You know, the funny thing is I think if Blue Pianta had the same confidence that Soda Poppin' did, There's a little bit of a cluster at third base there for a second during that play. They might have actually scored two because it stopped Soda Poppin from rounding the bases. Now, Blue Yoshi, caught out by Light Blue Yoshi. The item play as well trips up Blue Critter, forces him to run all the way back to first. Meanwhile, the third base runner, was it Soda Poppin? Yes, Soda Poppin.
Soda Poppin.
Did successfully tag up at home for another run for the Flowers, but rather than having a run on second, they have a run on first as the daisy chain commences.
We're seeing a little bit of a chaotic small ball game, which is exactly what the Flowers were hoping for here. Maybe not the chaos, but definitely the small ball that has brought them back to an even position in this game. Daisy? Up at bat now, middle of the daisy chain, gonna face down the first DK star pitch, chooses not to swing.
Her nameplate is even funnier when this is happening, but the Boo caught out by Funky Kong before it can slide out of the infield, and that will cause the Daisy to ground out, and the Flowers are able to keep things equal heading out of the third. Tie game all around from both teams. Tie game from both teams, as opposed to from one team, which is otherwise known as, let me check my notes, a lead.
Captain Miku starting it off with a line drive up center, falling just short of the center fielder to prevent the flyout. Tojima doing something similar. His goes left to avoid that baby in the outfield. Then gets greedy after Miku advances all the way to third. Tries to follow in her footsteps and go to second, but is caught out by Blue Critter's amazing arm. YP doesn't find much with some excellent running and fielding by Blue Yoshi. And now it is down to Boshi to try and bring Miku in. It won't happen. And the Flowers defense tightens up and keeps the Musicians scoreless again.
And of course means that the Flowers, as they are probably in the strongest part of the batting order they could be. Batter number 9, Daisy, stepping up and starting this inning with a solid line drive straight up the center field. Now it's Luigi, Mr. Consistency, slaps away DK's fastball, gets a single of his own. Runner on first, runner on second, and after the Flowers shake up to make sure the top of their order was as strong as possible, Tyler 1 will be the one who has to try to take advantage of that. Also slaps away DK's fastball, but unfortunately for him, it's not good enough to let him get on base. It'll advance the runners though. Luigi on second, Daisy on third, Blue Pianta at the plate.
We're gonna see a DK star pitch. Blue Pianta not charging up at all, but fire support might give Blue Pianta time. No! He's such a slow runner that he can't quite make it there, and it is 2 outs, 2 on for Soda Poppin. He's hoping to put 2 in. A line drive will curve foul, but he's showing that threat level. 2 strikes will bring out the DK star pitch, and he's gonna whiff. That's a strikeout. First strikeout of the series. Is it first strikeout of the playoffs?
It is the first strikeout of the playoffs.
First strikeout of the playoffs, and both teams go scoreless in the fourth. The first completely scoreless inning we've seen this game.
If you heard a motorcycle zoom past my window, that was the sound of the fastball actually from DK hitting the catcher's glove. And the first attempt, the first bat of the inning was the top of the order, Tato. She grounds out. Funky Kong doesn't get good contact with his surfboard either. That's a second out. Will it be 3 up, 3 out for the Musicians? Tiny Kong looks at the ball and says no. She hits it to shallow right, and it's up to Donkey Kong to decide whether his domination streak of home runs starts back up again in spirit.
He wants it. You saw him charge up there, didn't quite find it, but he's looking at this one. It's not a fastball, and it's possibly a home run. It is a home run. That hit the back wall of the stadium. It hit the back wall of the dome. Let's see it if we can see it in the replay.
Yeah, to
Not
Daisy,
quite.
honestly, if I might be honest with you, to Daisy, my face went. I'm feeling that.
will be the end of Luigi's pitching. Captain Daisy up for the Flowers, facing down Dixie Kong. Which, as we all know, if you've heard Willie's commentating of prior games, probably going to be an easy out for the Flowers.
Well, with the star pitch, it's doubly insured. The fireball could very easily mess up this play, but Blue Critter keeps his wits about him, I think, for some reason. Poor Blue Yoshi in right field got toasted there. But no, fireball misses Blue Critter, and he brings in the third out for the inning to at least secure an end for the Flowers. They're down 2 runs still as we enter the bottom of the 5th. Blue Critter, his first attempt at a deep bomb goes foul. Second pitch now from Donkey Kong. Attempt at a fastball, but, well, you foul right, why not foul left for Blue Critter? He'll have to try to get one straight down the middle on the third pitch. No, it's a hit to left field, and he's caught out by the Captain Miku.
Blue Yoshi up, and then it will be the daisy chain. DK hoping to get a second out right here, and is going to find it as Blue Yoshi hits a weak grounder out to second base. Strike one from the baby, completely whiffing with that rattle. Moves in a little closer to the plate, and DK throws a star pitch. Baby knows how to get all of that one, though. And a shell interference will secure a run to first. That might have been under threat, but was probably going to be fine.
Now that was intimidation tactics. Daisy, with a solid line drive out to center right, assisted by the Boo. Will Baby Daisy try to run home? There's no buddy throw, and the baby has plenty of time to touch pay dirt. That's a football term, isn't it? American football, please excuse me. I only speak one language. And Daisy's double lets Baby Daisy snag home plate and make this a 1-run game. Captain Daisy stares down Donkey Kong. She'll have to try to advance the runner on second.
Daisy 2 is on. Daisy 3 is at bat. It'll be a strong slap from Captain Daisy and a pow block that ultimately I don't think matters much. Runners on the corners for Mr. Consistency. Another star pitch coming out from DK, and it will be that weak grounder that comes out when you don't charge against it. But DK starting to get exhausted in the bottom of the 5th might spell disaster for the Musicians. The defense is going to have to make sure they keep up through the top of the Flowers lineup once they get through this inning.
Good dance move from Luigi to snag that line drive attempt from Captain Miku, but it only results in, well, a ball in the glove and an out on the scoreboard. Tojima grounds out to the first baseman, so we got 2 outs very quickly. And it'll be up to YP to try to stop this from being 3 up, 3 out. No. Luigi catches it, and it's a very quick at-bat inning from the Musicians as they're not able to expand their lead, but will have to just stay 1 up on the scoreboard.
And now we're going to see what I'm talking about as a tired DK takes the stage against Tyler 1. Still relying heavily on that fastball. Tyler 1's going to find all of it, and Tiny Kong's going to find all of Tyler's line drive out the center. Another slap, this time from Blue Pianta, out to center right with some chain chomp and bomb. That will be a solid and safe single.
Soda Poppin now has to try to advance this runner. If he can get 2 on for Blue Critter, it'll be a good opportunity, but he has to correctly charge up against this star hit. Fortunately for him, Boshi the Rock, that tongue catch takes too long. The Boo doesn't let her run forward, and Tyler 1 basically, Soda Poppin basically steals that single.
Funky Kong taking the mound. It's been a little while since he's done that, and it will be against Blue Critter. Finds a good line drive over the head of Tojima. Will advance Blue Pianta home on that single to tie that one up.
That means At the very
Musicians
least.
are in a tough situation. Runners on the corners and only one out so far. They're counting on Funky Kong to get them out of here with their star pitcher exhausted as early as the 6th inning.
Blue Yoshi
Not
hits it
quite.
fair to left field, barely avoiding the catch from Captain Miku. That means loaded bases at the start of the Daisy chain. Baby Daisy has to find her way past Funky Kong with one out on the board.
Strike one as she looks at the first. Swings on the second. There's a pow block coming in, and it will disable Boshi in time. They get the out at second still, as it also knocked out the runner, but it brings another in, and 2 remain on for the rest of the Daisy chain. YP makes the hero play to put an end to the inning, and it's back on the heads of the Musicians' offense to bring them back into this game.
Pretty incredible stuff from the Flowers,
Say, like, the
though.
Musicians' offense is different from their defense.
Yeah. Well, it's up to the Flowers now, or to try to stop the Musicians, only gaining the lead there as the pow block, yes, still resulted in an out, but definitely stopped the double play and let them get in that one extra run that they needed. Unfortunately for the Musicians, the first at-batter, Boshi, grounds out to third base, so now Tato will have to try to get on, and she'll have to do so through a star pitch from Daisy. This pow block item, which should seal this. No, it's not fast enough.
Fired late.
That means it's 2 outs now. Funky Kong might be 3 up, 3 out, or might be the Musician who finds the infield. He does. He touches up on first base. The good slap out to left.
Tiny Kong's got to keep her team alive here. If she can find the base with no outs, which she will, then it's Donkey Kong up at bat. And he has so much to prove after a pitching performance ended early. He's got to make it count on offense. Captain v sub-captain. Daisy goes for the star pitch and finds it, but Donkey Kong forces her to dash away. A little bit of weirdness as the Kongs decide to stay loaded on the bases, and now it's Dixie Kong who just barely isn't able to bring anyone home. Good play by defensive expert Blue Critter. Just barely catches her at first and preserves the Flowers lead.
That does also mean that for the last 2 innings, the Musicians will have to find runs, or at least try to maintain something, even though their 8th inning should be spent, pending absolute disaster for the Flowers, but a grace of God for the Musicians, and the weakest part of their batting order. The Flowers, meanwhile, are back to the strongest part. That still, though, Daisy and Luigi are both caught out by Boshi at second base, and, well, Tyler won look of fear in his eyes, as he's the only batter who might find the field. Why does this feel so familiar? Well, change of fate. Boshi, involved in all 3 outs, catches out 1, 2, 3, and absolutely seals the fate of the Flowers at the bottom of the 7th. Of course, though, Musicians, weakest part of the batting order, need to find something or just advance the batters. They'd love to see Donkey Kong hit again this game, but no. Captain Miku grounds out to Luigi at second base.
It's Tojima now. At least one of them needs to find the base here. The boo might help, and it does. It's going to give the chain chomp time. Does not interfere. Misses to Daisy in the outfield. Now it's YP. It's another slap, but once again, that heroic defense by Blue Critter is going to keep things shut down. And in a very tough situation for Musicians, it's going to be Boshi, the weakest batter, batter number 9 in their lineup. That is their lead off in their do or die inning. And now Funky Kong and the defense have got to keep the Flowers locked down in order to give them the time to even try and find that lead.
Well, first slap from Blue Pianta does find the hole in center field. That's him a single. Next up, Soda Poppin faces Funky Kong, slaps that fastball, finds a bit of a mirror hit, allowing his own single after a pop to center field, and that lets starred hitter Blue Critter reach the batter's box with 2 on.
Musicians fans hold their breath as Blue Critter throws it long. The outfield is in position, makes the catch to prevent the lead from getting away from them completely. With runners only on first and second, no one will advance to home off of that play.
Alright, responsibility returns to the musicians though, with Funky Kong, their tertiary pitcher, up and trying to gun out these Flowers players. The bobble from YP allows loaded bases now as Blue Yoshi reaches first and the daisy chain starts up.
Was their best chance to get out of the inning has turned into loaded bases. YP has got to take the chance to turn it around, but will be unable to do so as a green shell knocks him down and another one comes in. Funky Kong showing his frustrations. He wasn't even supposed to be on the mound today. And Daisy hits one right up center. A buddy throw will intercept Blue Yoshi, not find the out, but will prevent another from coming in. That's 3 runs that the musicians now have to make up if they want to sweep the Flowers. Flowers fighting for their tournament lives out here, and Boshi comes to try and take the mound in what will probably spell the end for the musicians. A double play off his first pitch will end the inning, however. Donkey Kong with the awareness to run back to base before pitching over to third just to get the double play.
Okay.
And now Boshi, pitcher hero of that last inning apparently, has to be the batter hero up on the mound. Going to swing at the Daisy star pitch, and that is going to be a bomb. Luigi goes for the buddy tackle in order to just make sure nothing happens there. At least 2 have to get on with no double plays if the musicians want Donkey Kong to be involved here. Tato does her job.
Funky Kong stepping up to the plate. He was a home run hitter on Yoshi Park, but here he settles for a much less flashy but all the same important job of knocking away a single. And Tiny Kong, who has had trouble in other games but also hit a bomb at Yoshi Park. Which way will she swing? She'll swing to left field and she will load the bases. Donkey Kong has had 1 star pitch that resulted in a single, 1 non-home run on his first at-bat of this game. He's against a tired Daisy. She's throwing a star pitch though.
He's gonna swing at it, and it's on the bomb. Infield fly rule will take the out.
Maybe
really should have just watched it. Instead, it's on Dixie Kong. But Daisy is stepping off. Does not trust herself to be able to close this one out against, some would argue, the musician's weakest batter. Dixie Kong charges up, but watches the star pitch from Baby Daisy. Second star pitch, she's gonna slap it. It's right over to Luigi, and that will be the game. The Flowers' choice of field working in their favor for this game. And we will be going to Game 3, and I hope I am able to watch all of it because I might be having to leave in half an hour.
Fair enough. We'll see what happens. The Flowers, honestly, I think Daisy is maybe the only batter or pitcher in the game who could force these weaker hits from Donkey Kong. 2 star hits in 2 crucial moments. preventing what could have been two devastating bombs that again could have sealed this game for the Musicians. But instead, barely holding on, the Flowers, 3 runs, 6-9 final score line. Again, no team in the league hits double digits unless they're playing against the Bows on Junior's Playroom. And that's only the Spitballs, who apparently have turned around their offense quite nicely.
DK's pride will not let him watch the star pitches. He sees it coming, so he wants to hit it, even though everyone knows it's an infield pop fly off a daisy. Unfortunate items both times it happened for DK. It was a bomb every single time, possibly the worst item you can have there, other than a boo.
Well, the Musicians, meanwhile, both DK and Funky Kong did a fine enough job on batting, but when you're in Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, hitting those deep hits is all the harder. DK was not the only one, actually, to clear the field, even though he did so by far the most convincingly out of any batter that we've ever seen in Grand Slam Galaxy. Instead, also Blue Critter joined him in hitting a delightful home run in the middle of that game. And Blue Critter getting MVP honors in no small part for it, as well as locking down his infield shortstop position very well. The Flowers, their pitching did hold on the entire game, basically when they needed it, except until the very end when Baby Daisy stepped onto the mound. I said that if they can stop the deep bombs with a little bit of help from the field, that I favor their pitching rotation a little bit more, and that turned out to work out on Junior's Playroom.
And now we are going to have our first Game 3 of the playoffs, but the Flowers will have their work cut out for them, Willie. As you have mentioned before, the stadium for the tiebreaker is Wario City. Do you remember what time?
Day.
Wario City Day. Both teams have some great batting, and Wario City can help with the small ball with its redirection arrows, but it also has very, very small proportions. It's a smaller field compared to most other stadiums, and that's going to help out with the Musicians slugging.
The coin flip to determine who gets home field advantage, and it falls to the Flowers. They'll get home field advantage on Wario City Day to end this series. And as it turns out, it's now, well, a very dangerous stadium for them. Don't get me wrong. Yes, the Flowers do have Blue Critter, who can hit quite great bombs when needed. Daisy, she was known for deep home runs at the start of the season, but kind of fell off a little bit. But when you have Funky Kong, and when you have Donkey Kong, and when you go to Wario City, I think that the work for the outfield for the Flowers is more than set out in front of them. Well, we'll have to see now. Final preparations all set up. The teams are looking good. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third game of this quarterfinals series. The Musicians face the Flowers. The winner moves on to face the Rookies, and the loser, well, their season is over. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the end of the quarterfinals, one way or the other.
It will be the Musicians first up at bat as Luigi takes the mound against leadoff batter Tato. Here's the pitch. Tato watches it go over the plate. And then watches a ball. She might be looking for something. It'll be a slap right out to Blue Critter.
Alright, first slugger for the musician steps up. Funky Kong watches the first strike, but any sort of rapid fire ball here can very quickly go out of the park. It's an ambiguous line drive. Baby Daisy snags it at the fence.
Just barely makes the out there. Tiny Kong maybe looking to show a little power of her own here with that charge ball. Instead, she's going to take the slap, and it will be to Blue Critter. A quick 3 up, 3 down for the musician's offense.
Responsibility swaps over to the Flowers. Who exactly scores first in this game? Let me double check, as Mr. Consistency, unfortunately for him, well, Blue Yoshi is quite a hell of an infielder. The musicians so far in both games in this series have struck first. And Tyler 1 will not change that trend, as his pop fly is caught out in center field. Responsibility falls to Blue Pianta to keep this inning going.
Strike 1 on Blue Pianta as Tato just barely finds the inside of that batter's box. Second will be a slap single out to right field. Sends the outfield scrambling to recover it. Soda popping up now. Charging up, hoping to put 2 on for Blue Critter to put it over the fence. Make no mistake, the Flowers do have a very dangerous home run hitter about to come up with runners on the corners.
Alright, responsibility falls to the Blue Scales. Will he be the first one to start off home run derby? Deep hit to left field, stays in. That's 3 runs, and the Flowers are the first team to get up on the scoreboard with that big, deep hit from Blue Critter. Blue Yoshi now will try to keep the magic going for as long as he can. He faces a slider from Tato and does find the right spot in the outfield to hit it. So that's a single for the Blue Yoshi. Baby Daisy now. Charges,
Baby
good
Daisy's gonna
contact.
send it up center, but get reeled in by Boshi the Rock to end the inning. 3 runs of damage puts the musicians behind right away. They were able to make nothing off their first showing. DK not even stepping up to the plate. Meanwhile, the Flowers get like 7 batters deep. DK, however, going to show off that he's still got it. Immediately puts one over the wall to cut the lead to 2.
DK's absolutely stellar batting performance in these playoffs continues. Unfortunately, he was cut just short of bringing in a big bomb from the first inning, as the Flowers, or the musicians, just weren't able to hang on that long in the batter's box. Dixie Kong follows him up, popping out to Blue Critter. Now the responsibility falls to the back half of the musicians' rotation, just to try to get as many runners on base for those big sluggers at the start of the rotation. Captain Miku will be the second one to take a crack at it after Dixie Kong. Count is 1-2. I believe. No, strikeout. The curveball from Luigi catches her looking, and I'm not sure she swung during that whole at-bat.
I don't believe she did, Willie. We're going to see another ball from Luigi. He's got some tricky control over these pitches. It can be difficult to tell what will and won't be a strike. Tojima thinks he can call Luigi's mark, begins to charge, decides not to this time, and instead will just slap out to Daisy. Donkey Kong, the only one really able to make an impact on this Flowers defense early in the game.
Now, responsibility again placed on the Flowers to try to get runners on the bases. Daisy will succeed. Help from a sewer, help from a redirection arrow, and that is going to be a triple from the jacket off of 2 devastating stadium effects.
I don't know why you started calling them jackets.
You called them jackets at first, and I was
Called them
like,
jerseys.
oh shit. Looks at a couple. So
Yeah,
which one of you is the jacket and which one of you is the jersey?
The Daisy Chain going to be bringing some slap and star offense here as Daisy bats into Daisy with a slap up center field following Daisy's star hit line drive. And that's going to immediately bring Tato off. This is the worst of the Musicians' woes for pitching. They have been driven off the mound right away. Their morale is in the dumpster right now.
Definitely more consistency coming from the Flowers to start off this game, and it'll be up for the Musicians to try to bring that measure back as they shut down Mr. Consistency with a pop fly.
Musicians, or the Flowers are currently lapping, well, not quite lapping the Musicians' offense, but already beginning to get deep into their lineup. DK throwing star pitches around, but isn't able to make much happen with them. Tyler 1 finds the first base.
Third pitch in the order, Blue Pianta now, very consistent slap hitter. So these fastballs from Donkey Kong are harder to do damage with. And yeah, Blue Pianta, solid slap out to right field. Scares Dixie and Tiny. A little bit of mishandling of the ball there. Tyler 1 caught out running between home and third. Safely tags back up to third, but that's runners on the corners. One more run brought in. And this lead for the Flowers is extended to 3 runs after the captain herself reaches home plate. Sorry, 4 runs. Soda poppin'. Hits to right field. Shell disables Dixie Kong for being able to make the buddy throw. And that means that Soda Poppin's hit turns into a double to bring another runner home and put a runner on second and third. The starred batter, Blue Critter, back up with 2 runners on the bases. Charges contact. Caught out by Boshi the Rock, who turns the double play to save the Musicians' inning. But so far, in the first and the second, the Flowers have put up great numbers, 3 runs each.
It's going to be now on YP to start that same effort off for the Musicians. Their offense has not been able to find the gaps in the Flowers' defense so far. However, YP is able to find a single. Boshi now hoping to repeat it. A bobble by Captain Daisy is going to allow Boshi to get on base, putting 2 on for the start of the Musicians lineup. Tato is up now, finds a nice line drive out to left center field on the
I don't think YP makes it.
Support. Yellow Pianta just barely makes it, knocking Blue Pianta down to the ground and putting runners on the corners for Funky Kong.
Not to
Dangerous
mention,
situation for the Flowers to be in here.
yeah, not to mention that with that, before you even noticed, the Musicians made it back to the top of their order with Tato, Funky Kong now. Big chance for the first big home run from the Musicians, but no, he grounds out to first. Boshi runs all the way home despite the ball being there with plenty of time left, and Tato makes it to second, but after Tiny Kong slaps it right to Blue Critter, once again, the Musicians' batting is silenced just as Donkey Kong is about to step to the plate.
That is disastrous for the Musicians. They really need these batters on so Donkey Kong can make the impact the team needs him to. One gorilla alone cannot win a baseball game, especially not when the defense has been letting up so many runs. They've got to shut it down now if they want a chance to claw back in here, and Yellow Pianta's diving catch there is going to have to be the first step as the daisy chain comes up. Baby Daisy finds DK's pitch, but does not hit it very far. Boshi able to make the turnaround.
Now it all comes down to Daisy? But again, Boshi able to reel that one in, keep the tongue on the ball, and secure the third out to make sure that the Flowers have their first scoreless inning. Now it's the Musicians, starting off with Donkey Kong, to bring this comeback. It's only the top of the fourth. We're very early in this game, as well Donkey Kong is fair to remind us with a foul ball.
However, Donkey Kong unable to find the success there, hitting it out to Captain Daisy. The Flowers infield has been all over the Musicians' attempts at offense so far this game. Dixie Kong able to keep her team's hopes alive for at least a little bit longer with that single. I say it like, again, we're not in the top of the fourth. It is only the top of the fourth. But Musicians fans will know that when they fall behind, it tends to end very poorly for them, as Miku strikes out looking for the second time this game.
I'm not sure how many times, if ever, a batter has struck out twice in one game. That's a bad look for the captain, but Tojima, not phased, keeps his nerves cool, keeps his bat clean. A good single with a pop up to shallow center, puts a runner on first, a runner on second for YP.
Daisy's diving catch, however, will shut down YP's weaker slap. Didn't make great contact, and that'll be another scoreless inning for the Wilds. They still have time to make it back in, but first they have to stop the end of the Daisy chain and the start of the top of their lineup from making more plays. It'll be a fly ball by Captain Daisy, caught by the buddy jump in the outfield for the first out of the inning.
Dixie and Tiny making the play when they need to make sure that this lead doesn't extend, and one out to get back to the top of the order. Could be better for both teams, could be worse. Donkey Kong, he knows Mr. Consistency as the slap hitter, and takes full advantage with the star pitch, taking advantage of that slap and of that pattern to force a weak hit and the second out.
Tyler 1, on the other hand, known for those charge hits, and a pow block will lead him securely to first. I think he would have made it anyway, but it was no question once Tiny Kong had hit the floor.
I'm also a little bit surprised that he doesn't go for second base off that play. Maybe if he had gone for it, I believe he would have had more than enough time. But, well, there's a reason he's on the field and I'm not. Soda Poppin' and Blue Pianta both with excellently aimed singles, and Dixie Kong getting that ball out of center field fast enough to avoid a run coming in. The drill from Blue Critter barely misses Boshi at second base, but avoids the grand slam opportunity. Now Blue Yoshi, 2 outs, bases loaded. Star hit from DK, responds with a charge. That's a hit out to left field. And 2 runs are brought in off of it to extend now. The Flowers lead to 7. Even worse news for the Musicians, Donkey Kong taken off the mound, and Dixie Kong brought in from center field to pitch. That means that there's no chemistry now in left field.
None at all. And that is a disaster for the Musicians, facing up against a team that has been liking to hit it out to those sides of the field, or really finding anywhere on the field they want. Have some excellent ball placement by the Flowers this game, as they find their first inning to score more than 3 runs.
Charge hit
Captain
from Daisy.
Charging up will ultimately be the end of this one, with a little bit of a runaround. as Boshi tries to find the out at first, but will not, and instead, Tojima settles for the one at second.
That means 5 for the Flowers. We're almost halfway through this game, and with Boshi the Rock holding down the 9th batting order, the responsibilities fall to the Musicians to make up a 9-run deficit. I'm not sure, but I think this might be, if they make it back, the greatest comeback we've seen in Grand Slam Galaxy. And unfortunately, Tato pops it right to second base. Daisy picks that one up, turns it over to first place. Double play and cleared bases. Funky Kong doesn't find much luck either, immediately hitting it to the first baseman Tyler 1. And the Musicians' top of the 5th is silenced.
Mr. Consistency starts it off for the Flowers, but just hits that curveball out to Boshi at second base. Tyler 1 knows what to do. He puts it over Boshi's head. The rest of the team's been doing it.
Solid.
That'll be an easy double with a little bit of stadium interference.
Now that consistent slap hit from Blue Pianta finds its way out to right field. The Boo interference, I think, really did help Tyler 1 touch home plate there as Dixie Kong starts to tire. With a run on first, Soda Pop is not able to escape the infield. He's caught out grounding out, but advances Blue Pianta to second as Blue Critter steps into the box. Facing down a tired Dixie Kong. Charges early. Shot called. Trigger pulled. Deep hit. Does Tiny Kong make it? Yes! By inches. Fires Donkey Kong into the air and makes that play to keep the lead at 9.
A little bit of Kong family resiliency while switching Dixie Kong in from the outfield was undeniably a horrible decision. It still maintains some of that chemistry for DK out there because of Tiny Kong's presence. If you're a Musicians fan, you're hoping that once Dixie Kong finishes getting tired on the mound, they send in Captain Miku, restoring the outfield synergy all around. It is now DK's time to try and make up some of this difference, and with a little bit of interruption, though I don't know if it mattered, that will be a 2-run home run, cutting the lead down to 8.
DK involved in 2 huge plays back to back. A massive buddy catch to avoid a 2-run homer. Immediately comes up, and with Tiny Kong, who was the other Kong involved in that buddy catch, drills a 2-run homer. And, swings this game effectively almost by 4 points, just with the power of those 2 alone. Dixie Kong hits a good hit to reach first base. Captain Miku swings, but unfortunately is caught out by Blue Critter for the double play. And as Tojima steps up, it'll have to be, can he start a Musicians 2-out rally? Well, he starts one, but how long can it last?
It's got to make it through YP and Boshi. Neither of them have had much success this game. YP hoping to bring it in a little bit. Does have some of that power that could put it over the wall, but does not make use of it here. Instead, a slap out to right field for a single brings Boshi up. Boshi charges, swings, and misses at the first pitch. Not going to charge on the second, just watches, and it's another strike. Has to make the swing here, does so, but it's another diving catch by Blue Critter. The Flowers favoring the diving catch defense in the infield versus the reel in defense that most teams do, and it has been working out excellently for them this game. We'll see how long Dixie Kong remains on the mound. She's not a great pitcher and she doesn't have a lot of stamina, but they're hoping she can make it at least through Blue Yoshi. Boo will mean that she doesn't.
Dixie Kong taken off the mound. Which player is it? It's Tojima at first base. Wait.
Yep, first base.
Yep, Tojima from first base, who's brought in to pitch. And immediately, Baby Daisy, with a hit out to left field to put a run on first, a run on second, no outs as the Daisy chain starts to swing. Daisy comes up to the plate now. Relatively solid hitter of her own. Tojima throws 2 balls and then throws it back to Blue Yoshi to try to keep the runner a little bit scared before reeling in a strike on the inside.
Boshi tries the catch there, tries to make it happen, does not manage it, and DK is unable to... DK and Yellow Pianta team up to try and field it back to home in time, but do not manage to do so. Lead increases to 9 once more, and there are still no outs on the inning.
Captain Daisy, foul hit on the first attempt. With the Daisies on first and second, slaps the next ball, but Boshi locks it down and turns it over with YP for a double. The inning might not be over, but a little bit less pressure falling down on the musicians' backs. Mr. Consistency, though, always a chance to advance a Daisy. Doesn't want it, though. Takes a weak charge hit and grounds out to Boshi at second base. The musicians have been a team defined throughout so much of this season by extra innings. And if they want to make it there, they need to, at minimum, score 3 runs per inning. Potato, well, she flies out to the third baseman to start.
They have to stop. If they want to do that, Willie, they have to stop hitting it directly to Flowers' outfielders, or not outfielders, infielders. Right now they're hitting it directly to an outfielder across the foul line as well. Funky Kong unable to pick up his slugging performance so far in this game. 2 outs immediately of the last 9 the musicians might ever have in this season. Tiny Kong will be once again the one to make it to base. Donkey Kong can try and put it away here for another 2 as Luigi finally starts to tire, but the Flowers are a lot earlier in their pitching rotation. They've still got their starting pitcher. DK once again with the 2-run home run. Right now, he and Tiny Kong are basically trying to carry this game by themselves, but it has not been enough. They are only 2 batters on a 9-batter lineup. And the other 7 are not performing.
Luigi is finally taken off the mound in the 7th for Daisy to try to close this one out. Honestly, a little bit of stronger play from Tato and Funky Kong, and the musicians could be so much more favored in this game, but instead Dixie Kong has, well, she's been performing pretty admirably so far in the postseason, but her attempt in the 7th, she grounds out to Blue Critter at the shortstop position. And still, lots of ground to make up for the musicians, but to get there, they need to get past the Flowers offense. Tyler 1. First hit goes foul. Tojima
watches the second from Tojima for a strike. And good plate discipline to know that one was a ball. It's going to slap it out, but the early hop from Boshi the Rock. Another player whose performance has been faltering in this game for the musicians will mean that what could have been an out instead turns into a single.
And just barely not able to grab onto that one. Captain Miku, though, keeps her cool in left field, snags that pop fly from Blue Pianta. Well, you know, Boshi does successfully make the catch that time and cleans up their own mistakes, pitching it to first for the double play. And, well, the musicians have at least started. But now, what needed to be 3 runs per inning increases to 4 at the top of the 8th. Captain Miku
6
leads off
outs.
and starts with an out.
5 outs to find 7 runs as Blue Critter reels in another one. An absolute monster on defense.
And
the
Daisy bringing
Captain
in
Daisy
these star pitches.
pitch gonna be swung at. Is the shell fired? It is. It'll actually be enough for Tojima to find first. When it's not a bomb or a boo, the star pitch is far more risky. YP charges up but lets the first one through. And it's another star pitch. There's no item support this time. YP, you shouldn't have hit that.
Luigi's the man to snag it. Now it's Tojima at first. Boshi needs to lock down this team. It's a deep hit to right field, but there is chemistry and there is the catch. And the musicians are kept quiet. They'll return to the top of their batting order in the 9th, but they'll do so at minimum. Heading into it, I'm stalling for time because I forget the exact score, 7-run deficit. The Flowers starting off with their new star hitter, Blue Critter, facing Tojima. His line drive immediately caught out by YP. Blue Yoshi steps up to the plate. Not exactly a strong hitter, plenty of opportunities for Tojima to force some weak hits, and does on that one. Blue Toad grounds out thanks to Boshi locking that one down, bringing us to 2 outs at the start of the Daisy chain. Baby Daisy, will she be the last batter for the Flowers this quarterfinal? Well, step 1 is her getting out here, which she does not. Step 2 would have been that amazing musician's comeback, but no, a single for her means to Daisy. We'll see the box at least one more time this game. It's a slow pitch from Tojima, but to Daisy, just watch it fly by. Second pitch now, star pitch fastball, makes good contact, brings it out to right field. Baby Daisy, caught in between the bases. Caught
He's going
out.
to get tagged out at third.
All right.
3 outs, 7 runs, top of the order. If the musicians want this to work, they have to break past Captain Daisy and the killer infield of the Flowers for 7. It's not impossible. They have the batters to do it. And a bobble from Luigi is going to help them out. Tato on first, Funky Kong up. Secondary slugger for the musicians has been unable to make it happen this game. Looking for the turnaround this time. It's a high fly, but they do not fire that disrupting power block, and Blue Yoshi makes the out.
And you gotta be scared now with the 1 out on the board. When does Daisy start firing off those star pitchers, which can be so devastating in a late game like this one? Tiny Kong up to the plate now. She has been very, very needed for this team so far, but she needs to not fall for the bait. There is a power block item. She doesn't fall for the star pitch, though. That's pretty good.
Might have been the right time to do it with that power block. Instead, it'll be a quick double play turnaround by Blue Critter to end the series. The Flowers with one of the biggest turnarounds in the Galaxy League, having been maimed during the CPU Classic, the Winter CPU Classic, and struggling for most of the season, have brought it around to beat a musicians team that absolutely collapsed in their 3rd game. Congratulations to the Flowers and their coaches, and I have to say this all swiftly, Willie, because I'm afraid I've got to sign off now.
Thank you for joining me on commentary for this evening, Civil Lily, and I look forward to commentating the semifinals with you.
As do I, Willie. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. The musicians knocked out in the quarterfinals after the Flowers successfully come back. I really did think that after Donkey Kong's incredible performance, his home runs being so devastating in that first game, accounting alone by the numbers for 7 runs, I really thought that going to Wario City, the musicians would take even more advantage of that, especially with a slugger like Funky Kong coming at to the plate. But unfortunately for the musicians, their sluggers, just like the Monarchs, the tale of both of these devastating teams, not able to perform in the postseason and shut down by surprising comebacks. Now, flipping this narrative around a little bit, both the Spitballs and the Flowers, the lower seeds, 5th and 6th, successfully managed to get their way through the quarterfinals, and both the lower seeded teams will successfully make it to a semi-final appearance, a late season turnaround from the Flowers, turning them into a devastatingly effective squad. Not just having that defense that they're so well known for, but now that reworked first half of their offense coming up big and managing to outscore the musician squad twice in ever so crucial moments, including on Wario City. Incredible effort from the musicians to incredible effort from the Flowers to outmaneuver the musicians on such a slugger-heavy field. But condolences again to the musicians. The Kong lineup, after coming alive in the later half of the season, are not able to pull through the quarterfinals and will find their way down into that 5th place finish in the postseason. Them and the Monarchs, both slugging teams, both shut down. Now, next, this Saturday, we will have 2 unexpected semifinals, with no shade thrown, of course, to the Flowers or the Spitballs. But if you were a betting person, I don't think many people had both the Flowers and the Spitballs both advancing to the next round. Our first semifinal will be the Spitballs versus the Monsters. Stadiums to be determined. Our second semifinal will be the Rookies versus the Flowers. After a day of upsets, you gotta ask yourself which way this swings. And best of luck to all teams come Saturday when Grand Slam Galaxy's semifinals start. Thank you all for joining me. I am your commissioner, Willie or Won't He. I'm ending at the perfect time as we end on 10 o'clock p.m. I will see you all next broadcast. And until then, play on, everybody.